Welcome to our regularly scheduled commission meeting, September 27, 2023. The time is now 7:20. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Bass,
Here.
Vice Mayor Irvin,
Here.
Commissioner Kelly,
Present.
Commissioner Williams,
Here.
Mayor Taylor.
Here, as we stand for our invocation led by Commissioner Kelly.
O Lord, how excellent is thy name in all of the earth. We come thanking you, God, for this day. We thank you for life, health, and strength. We thank you for this community. Continue, God, to give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to those things which are pleasing in your sight. In Jesus' name we do pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And again, we want to apologize for our tardiness. Our budget hearing went over a little bit, so we thank you for your patience. And again, apologize for our tardiness. At this point, we will have our awards, proclamations, and acknowledgements. We have none at this point, so we're going to the approval of the consent agenda. Do we have any pulls, deferrals, or deletions from the consent agenda?
Mayor,
Commissioner Kelly?
I want to pull number 2.
Okay,
Thank you.
anyone else? All right. Can I get a motion for the approval of our
Move it.
move by Commissioner Kelly?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Williams. Madam Clerk?
Vice Mayor Irvin,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams.
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, and I see that we do have 4 add-on items. Before we go into the approval of the agenda, Madam Attorney, or can you read into record the 4 add-on items?
Item 14.1, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, approving expenditures related to special events hosted by City Commissioner Joseph L. Kelly for the remainder of fiscal year 2022 through 2023, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by Commissioner Kelly.
Can I get a motion to add this on the agenda?
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Kelly. I believe the second was by Vice Mayor. Roll call?
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Second item, Madam Attorney?
This item would be added as 14.2, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, recognizing October 2023 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the City of Opa-locka, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by Commissioner Williams.
All right, can I get a motion?
Move it. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Kelly, second by Commissioner Bass, I believe. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin.
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, and Madam Attorney, can you read into record the 2 ordinances that we're adding on to their next agenda?
Yes, and this would be 14.3.
Yes.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending Chapter 7, Article 1, Section 7-6 of the City of Opa-locka's Code of Ordinances to add new number 106, establishing a fee of $100 for the registration of recreational vehicles, amending Article 11, Division 10, Subdivision 2, Section 2-570.33, entitled Schedule of Civil Penalties, to remove language that parking is prohibited except in a trailer park, to provide for a $500 penalty for illegal placement or storage of a recreational vehicle, provide for a $500 penalty for illegal use of a recreational vehicle, and provide for a $500 penalty for non-registration of a recreational vehicle, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the interim city manager.
All right, can I get a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Williams,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bass. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin.
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly.
Yes.
Commissioner Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, ordinance 14.2. Madam Attorney,
This item would be added as 14.4.
14.4, sorry.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, pertaining to the storage of recreational vehicles, amending Article 5, Section 22-116 of the City of Opa-locka's Land Development Regulations entitled Recreational Vehicle Storage to provide for definitions, standards for recreational vehicle storage in a registration process, providing for severability, providing for codification and code, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the interim city manager.
All right, can I get a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Bass,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Irvin,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Bass,
Second.
second by Commissioner Williams, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams.
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, we're going into item 8, approval of minutes. Approval of the minutes from the special commission meeting minutes, July 18, 2023. Can I get a motion?
Move.
Moved by Commissioner Kelly, second by Vice Mayor, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin.
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, approval of the workshop meeting minutes, July 19, 2023. Can I get a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bass, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin.
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly.
Yes.
Commissioner Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, approval of the minutes from the workshop meeting minutes, August 3rd, 2023. Can I get a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Vice Mayor, second by Commissioner Bass, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Irvin.
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly.
Yes.
Commissioner Williams.
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, approval of the minutes from the special commission meeting minutes, August 7th, 2023. Can I get a motion? Moved by Commissioner Kelly,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Kelly.
Yes.
Commissioner Williams.
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, I see that we have no District 1, District 2, or state reports, so we're gonna go into our public presentation. Presenting to us tonight, on behalf of our Superintendent Dortres, Miami-Dade County Public Schools Office of Intergovernmental Affairs, Family and Community Engagement Presentation on Programs and Parent Engagement. Welcome to the City of Opa-locka.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, members of the council. Thank you so much for having us here tonight. Again, we bring greetings on behalf of our superintendent and our school board. We are so pleased to be here tonight. We wanted to take an opportunity to thank the city of Opa-locka for its continued partnership and support of our schools. We also wanted to share some information with the city about your schools and about some of the programs that we have available to your citizens, the community. Both of the schools that are within your boundaries are B schools, Dr. Robert B. Ingham and Nathan B. Young. Your feeder pattern, HML, I'm proud to report, has 100% graduation rate. Within the city of Opa-locka, I don't know if you realize this, but there are over 2,300 children that attend over 180 different Miami-Dade County public schools, from Dash to Mast to Turner Tech. And we are all about parent voice and parent choice. And with that being said, some of the information we'd like to share tonight with you that you'll have in your packets are opportunities for your businesses and your citizens to partner with us as volunteers, as mentors, as business partners to our schools. In addition, we've included in your package a copy of our board's adopted legislative program. And we're always grateful for your support, because as you know, here in the city, as it is in our schools, we can only deliver services to our students, assuming that we have resources that we need that come down from Tallahassee. I have with me this evening several of my colleagues. First, I'd like to introduce Ms. Barbara Mendizabal. She's the assistant superintendent, and her areas of responsibility include the Parent Academy, and community hubs, which she'll speak to you about a little bit. I mean, it's a great resource and a great way for parents to get information about how to navigate our schools and how to help their children. In addition, I have with me Assistant Superintendent, Mr. Renee Montilla, who is responsible for our career and technical colleges. And there's fantastic programs that serve not only students, but adults within the community that want to come back and improve their skills, reskill, learn something new. And then my colleague who was responsible for making the arrangements tonight, she's new to intergovernmental affairs, Miss Ailette Diaz, and she is fantastic. And you will be seeing and hearing a lot more from her, as she's going to be focusing a lot on our local intergovernmental relations. So with that, I'd like to ask Miss Mendizabal to come to the mic and share a little bit about the Parent Academy.
Thank you, Ms. Facino. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for having us here today. Ms. Facino spoke about opportunities to engage with our district, our community engagement office, our intergovernmental office, but also for opportunities for parents to engage with us and reconnect and connect with the school sites and their principals. And we do that through the Parent Academy. We provide workshops for parents, not only to view workshops at home, from the comfort of their homes or offices in the morning at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And you do have a flyer with some of the topics. On Tuesdays, the workshops are available webinars in English, Wednesdays in Haitian Creole, and Thursdays in Spanish, but also opportunities for them to watch these webinars with their principals at any time upon principal's request. We're there at the school site for them to view some of these workshops. The topics, how do we select these topics? As you can see, next week, October the 3rd, one of the most important topics for this school year is magnet schools and choice options. That's one of the things Ms. Facino spoke about, the many students that you have within your beautiful city that attend magnet programs within our county. This workshop next week will provide parents step-by-step on how to apply for a magnet program or a choice program or a talent program, where they will be required to audition for the program or submit a portfolio if it's an art program or an architectural program. These programs, all of these topics are selected after we survey our parents. To give you an idea, last year, we had 7,300 parents participate, not only sign up, they actually participated. They signed in, completed the course, 7,300. It's been a month since we started school, and we've already have 1,300 that have participated. So we're very happy about the participation, and the re-engagement is so important for parents to be engaged with their principals and teachers and assistant principals as well. Ms. Facino spoke about community hubs. Community hubs, in this card that you have within your packet, on the front, it gives you 2 community hubs that are actually available and open and running and provide assistance to parents. We have it at the North Side Shopping Plaza and 7900 Northwest 27th Avenue. And we have one at Parkway Educational Complex, 2349 Northwest 175th Street. And we will be opening real soon another one in the area of Hialeah, and we will provide you that information when we have our grand opening. In the hubs, we service the parents, everything from workshops to activities to book clubs in the 3 languages for parents. And if they need any assistance in reconnecting with anyone at the district or help assistance and referrals to agencies outside for services, free services, we're there for them. And also reconnecting with our wonderful principals and administrators at our school sites. So thank you so much for having us, and please spread the word. We're here for them. parentacademymiami.com. Follow us. We're on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook. We're available. So we're always for the parents. Thank you. And now my colleague, Mr. Renee Montilla, Assistant Superintendent.
Thank you, Ms. Mendez. So I'm going to speak very briefly about our 7 technical colleges. Before I do that, though, I want to say a couple of things. One, I noticed the parking that you have in the front that was designated for a veteran. As a veteran of the United States Army, thank you so very much. That is truly appreciated. Spent some time here in Opa-locka. My mom lived at Opa-locka. So I'm rooted here. Was a real bad kid, but I'm a good boy now. Okay? So just want to give you a little bit of background. So you have this brochure here. It speaks to our 7 technical colleges. We have Miami Lakes Technical College, Robert Morgan Technical College, Lindsay Hopkins Technical College, D.A. Dorsey Technical College, George C. Baker Aviation Technical College, and did I miss any? No, I think I got them all. And the English Center. We have over 60 programs, over 60 career and technical programs at our technical colleges. All of our technical colleges are fully accredited. What does that mean? That a student that goes to one of our technical colleges can qualify for Pell. They could use Pell, Bright Futures, Veterans, Florida supplemental grants. We do not do any student loans in our technical colleges. So when you graduate from one of our technical colleges, you graduate debt free. I'm going to speak to you just one program to keep it really simple. Automotive, right? The automotive that we have at 4 of our technical colleges, students finish that program, they start working at $75,000 a year to begin, right? $75,000 a year with no student loans whatsoever. So their purchasing power is significant versus someone who may graduate from a traditional college or university with student loans. So most of our programs can be done within a year, but definitely all of our programs can be done within 1 to 2 years. It's really easy to get our information. You can call either 305-558-8000 or go to careerintheyear.com and all of our information is here. Thank you so much for your time. God bless you all.
Thank you. So we want to thank you all for the hard work and dedication that you do for the residents of the city of Opa-locka. And I think if I heard you correctly, you said over 2,300 children from the city of Opa-locka go to are in the Dade County Public School.
2358.
2358 to be exact. And I know with this side of the
Absolutely.
dais
Absolutely.
are educators
Uh-huh.
and one because she's a part of what I say Opa-locka Elementary, Robert B. Ingram Elementary School. So I know she's really excited.
I'm actually the community liaison specialist for Dr. Robert Bingham Elementary School. So I am quite familiar with what you are presenting.
Thank you.
And our vice principal down here.
Mhm.
No, I just want to say thank you. I'm going to assume the mayor reached out. My assumption, I'm assuming.
No.
Okay. I'm so
I
sorry.
thought one of you all did.
You can take the credit.
Absolutely. No, we just wanted to come to the city, now that the school year has gotten underway, share with you and your citizenry, some of the programs and opportunities that we offer, and also extend an offer to you all that we have staff that are willing to come to any of your city events, to provide information through the Parent Academy. You can actually request an in-person workshop. If the city was hosting something, I would like that as a component or a session. So we just wanted to come and thank you for the continued partnership, and tell you, we're here. We're here to join with you to help our kids and help our community.
Okay.
I just wanted to finish. I first of all, thank you, because I know it's late. You can be anywhere, anywhere. Because I know MDCPS, we work hard through the day, and here you are at night working hard. I have a motto. I say, we can't just stay in the 4 walls of our schoolhouse. We have to do the community work, which is why I'm up here doing the work of my community. And so for the Office of Intergovernmental Affairs to reach out to municipalities, and I'm assuming you all are doing a one-stop shop around the town. I believe it's amazing, because not too many times do we get what's near and dear to our heart, which all of us have had either children go through MDCPS or in them now. My oldest is at HML.
I graduated from HML.
NMB.
But we thank you, and whatever we can do to ensure that it is a smooth transition. You have my word that I'll be here, and we all will be here, all 5 of us. Like I say, we're all products, and we're prepared to all 38 students that live in our community that I know go all over. You'd be surprised how many students I run into from Opa-locka at Miami Northwestern. So So
Absolutely.
we're excited to bridge that partnership.
And thank you very much. Let me just, I don't know if you saw, this is Miss Ailette Diaz, and she's the administrative director, and she's responsible for reaching out to your city and the other cities. And you'll be seeing a lot more of her. So if you need anything, you can always call me directly, but Ailette's always ready to serve.
And I know we have to move on, but I'm gonna drop this plug. I know you said that you're opening up your stop by one community resource hub.
Mhm.
So the fourth one that you do, consider Opa-locka.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if you want to know anything you can do to share the information with your citizens, that would be great. And we're happy to provide whatever materials. Thank you.
And I would like to say thank you so much. And since we've given shout outs, Miami Central. Thank you so much.
Mayor. I'm not gonna leave North Miami out of this. Proud pioneer. I do want to say, Mr. Mayor, thank you all for being here. I will be reaching out to invite you to meet me Monday, which is something y'all shaking your head. Y'all know about meet me Monday. Okay. The community, so I'll be reaching out. And you did mention there's 1,300 so far that are engaged you have any idea how many Opa-locka so far are engaged with the parent?
Parent Academy.
I was just curious but I definitely reaching out to invite you to a meeting Monday. Thank you again.
We'll be there. Thank you again.
Thank you. All righty, as we move on to our citizens forum. Madam Clerk, can you read into record? Read it in the record. I couldn't get it up. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening. City of Opa-locka Commission meetings are held in person at the Opa-locka Municipal Complex, City Commission Chambers, 780 Fisherman Street, 3rd floor, Opa-locka, Florida. Members of the public wishing to address the commission may do so in person or virtually. Those persons wishing to participate virtually should register prior to the scheduled meeting time on the city's website at www.opalockafl.gov. When speaking before the city commission, please make sure to give your full name and address for the record. There is a 3-minute time limit for public comments. Please adhere to the decorum policy, which is part of the commission meeting agenda. City commission meetings are aired through live stream at www.youtube.com/user/City of Opa-locka. And at this time, Mr. Mayor, we do not have any virtual public comments.
All righty, so our citizens forum is open.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Brian Dennis, address 2140 York Street. There seems to be a consistent coddling of the city manager. And y'all know he's breaking the law. Y'all know he's violating the charter. Y'all know he's violating Florida statute, but yet the city commission consistently coddles the manager. That's not good for business. That's not good for business to get something that's added on. And then we have the highest millage rate in the entire county. Now, I thought I would have made it here from the budget hearing, but here's the thing, at 9.5 or 9.6, and property values are going up, there's about $48 million that's left on the table that nobody has even considered to look at. See, it's about the business. But since we got personal agendas, and we want to coddle the manager, how about we start putting people personal business out there? From what you do from the seat that you're supposed to represent from us. Because I'm quite sure when the citizens find out what's really going on and why the manager is holding certain stuff over people's head, it won't look good. Four. In 2023 alone, HR directors gone. Four. Since June 22nd, again, have not gotten one public information request. And I understand that the ACC was going to help me, which is due to my schedule being busy, was going to help me apply for this stuff online. But each and every one of y'all got those emails with those public requests on there that has not been provided to me. I don't blame the clerk for that because it was sent to the manager. The same way he put my information out across the city should have been the same way he delivered it. But yet still, we're going to coddle a city manager that violates Florida statutes. Public information, which what Ms. former Commissioner Dominguez read while I was over here, on the way over here, about not having ample time to go through the proper procedures with the budget. Come on, man. I tell you what, in less than 60 days, everybody up on the dais will be qualified to be recalled. Because y'all want to play with the manager because he's playing with the process of hiring a new manager. There ain't no sense of playing that game. We know what happened. It was so eloquently put by Commissioner Kelly last meeting. Everybody got those emails. So why are we steady playing these games with this dude? Y'all know what Will did. Do I need to put the information out there what he supposedly did in the Dominican Republic? Come on now, if he violated those folks over in the Dominican Republic, I'm quite sure he violated the cities of Opa-locka, the citizen of this city. Be real.
Citizens Forum is still open.
Andrea Mobley, 2511 Northwest 140th Street. My question is, apparently, I thought it was just me at my house, where the water bill came this past month, over $2,000. They said I had a leak. All of it was checked, no leak. So the city said, okay, you have to go on a payment plan. I was talking to one of my other neighbors and they told me they received water bills for over $1,000 for last month. So my question is, there must be something in the city that has broken the water line, because it's only myself and my daughter in my house. I had the plumber to check every pipe, nothing. So I would like to know, why is my water bill over $2,000? I'm paying on a payment plan to get this down because they say I gotta pay it. So apparently there's something wrong on 140th Street, because more than one myself is having the same problem.
Hi, Jasmine Wines from 13004 Alexandria Drive, Opa-locka, Florida. You know that already, but yeah, I'm here because we was moved into the hotel in Miami-Dade. I've been going through a situation where they moved me into another room because it had bugs in it. So as of last night, my daughter woke up with nothing but bites from her cheeks all the way down to her chest. I took her to the hospital last night. I sent pictures, emails, and everything to a lot of people. Went to the hotel. The hotel manager, Ms. Roche, asked me, what do I want her to do? I asked her to do her job, move me. She told me I have to go to my manager. I went to my manager, 8 o'clock in the morning. She told me she's not a doctor and she's not a manager for the hotel. So she can't do anything. She called the management of the hotel. The hotel told her, oh, well, Jasmine been for the last week, she been outside, she been hanging out, spreading rumors, doing this and doing that. I just had my baby a week ago, so how was I doing all that when I was in the hospital for a whole week because I had a C-section? When I came back, I immediately had no bug problem, so I was not out there. I asked her, can she request for the cameras and show me where she seen me at? Then they came to the apartment, came to the hotel. The hotel told me that they'll have to exterminate with me and my baby in there because they're not moving me. They're not gonna move me nowhere. They exterminate my things. I have to move my things out, but me and my baby have to stay there, and they don't know when the exterminator is gonna be there to be available. I said, so y'all want me and my baby to stay in there while she continue getting bit up? They said, well, they don't know what to do because they have no rooms and they're not putting me nowhere else, which I see a lot of vacant rooms, but they're saying, oh, because Gloria Gardens at a discount price, that they're not putting us in the rooms. So I feel like it's very unfair because nobody's helping me. Nobody's not doing anything. I'm trying to fight for my baby. My baby is only a week years old. She should go through that at all. She can't fight no bugs on her. She can't do anything. And it's just like, I'm here by myself doing all this by myself and nobody's not helping when I'm emailing and doing everything to everybody. Everybody's just throwing it off on everybody else. And that seems very unfair to me. That's all.
Okay, citizens forum is still open.
Bruce Baskin, 2070 York Street. I'm here again. I think this is my 4th or 5th time meeting either with the manager or this commission about my issue with the fence at my property. I need a resolution. The city survey has been out to my property. I've had my own survey done. So far, I haven't seen anything or heard anything different from what I've had. I haven't heard anything from the city. Mr. Mayor, you and I both went to my property, looked at it, observed it. I don't see anything different. I need a resolution. I'm coming back and forth, but yet and still, I'm not being told anything. And I need to know what it is. I did receive a fine about a week and a half ago for this same issue about this encroachment, about my fence being on the city's property. So I'm here again asking, I need a resolution. So who's gonna provide that resolution to me? The city, the commission, the manager, who? But I can't keep coming back and forth with the same thing. So I need a resolution. And if that resolution tonight, or somebody needs to get in contact with me and tell me, where do we go from here? Thank you.
Yes, sir. Citizens forum is still open.
Rose Titus, 1101 Dunad Avenue, Opa-locka, Florida. To the mayor and to the city commission. I consider myself to be a very patient individual. I've given my concerns tonight very much patient deliberation. And that's why with my continually coming up with speculation, I'm here tonight to get some answers from the horse's mouth. My questions are directed to you, Mr. Manager. Only you can answer my questions because my initial inquiries were made to you by me. In 3 days, we're going to be in the month of October. My journey began with you, Mr. Manager, sometime in May. I emailed you with what I consider to be just routine observations. I CC'd the commission as well. It was a month or so before I was able to reach you via telephone. And at that time, you gave me a tongue lashing as to why did I CC the city commission. I only needed to lodge my complaint with you. This is what you told me on the phone. So on July 10th, 2023, I sent you, Mr. Manager, another email respectfully honoring your request by not CCing the city commission. My email enumerated what appeared to me to be code violations that I had observed during my daily early morning walk. Some of the alleged violations had been active for over a year. I provided you with addresses and what I perceived as the violations. Most importantly, I honored your request. I did not make my concerns known to the commission. In my email, I requested you acknowledge receipt of the email and advise me of the disposition. I'm not a code enforcement nor a law enforcement officer, and this information was to assist me in using my time wisely. I called, I left messages for you or Shemeka Lawson to return my call concerning this issue. Neither one of you responded. After over a month, I emailed you a second time, August 22nd to be exact, and attached the complaint sent to you on July 10th and requested acknowledgement and disposition, asking you why neither one of you, Shemeka Lawson or George Ellis, returned any of my calls. I did, however, CC the city commission on this particular email, Ms. Lawson, and I CC Mr. Ellis on the August 22nd email. I received a phone call from Mayor Taylor, from Vice Mayor Irvin, and Commissioner Kelly. They apologized to me for the way that I had been treated and based on what I had told them. From what I understand, I didn't see it and I didn't hear it. It's all hearsay. That you were told by some of those members, Commissioner Kelly, Vice Mayor Irvin, and Mayor Taylor, that you were given verbal and written communication or direction to contact me. Mr. Ellis followed, following receipt of the CC, never stated. He called me and never stated that he was calling on your behalf. I believe he was responding to the CC that he had received. I shared with Mr. Ellis my concerns, and he never committed to responding to my inquiries as I had requested. We engaged in small talk, and I inquired about the budget process. In 3 days, it will be October. I have never heard from Mr. Ellis again. I have never heard from you. I ask you, Mr. Manager, in the presence of all of these witnesses, what more must I do? How much longer do I have to wait to get a response from you? Every closed eye is not asleep, and every goodbye is not gone. And because you have not heard from me publicly, does not mean that I've forgotten, that I've dismissed, or I've given up. My biggest concern is that
Vice Mayor, how much more do you have?
just maybe 3 more sentences. My biggest concern is that
Because I want to. Wait, what did you say, Commissioner? Well, we could the will of the commission to allow Vice Mayor to.
Yes.
Okay. Yes,
Go right
ma'am.
ahead.
Go ahead, Vice Mayor. I want to extend that courtesy to you.
Thank you. My biggest concern is that if I'm treated like this, someone who is a vital part of this city's history, someone who has faithfully served as an appointed and an elected official for a combined 22 years, how is the average resident and business owner being treated? This is unacceptable behavior. You're getting paid to serve the residents of this community, not to blatantly ignore and disrespect them. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Citizens Forum is still open.
Christina Banks, 2470 Northwest 140th Street, Opa-locka. I come before the commission and the city manager with consent agenda item number 1, the resolution. I was looking at it and looking at the amount of money that we're paying for insurance for the city. And I really would like to know how we got to this point of paying over $3 million for insurance for the city. But I just heard you guys pass a budget to raise our taxes, okay? But yet and still, we have insurance $3 million. That's some of my taxpaying dollars. That's gonna go towards this amount of money. We need to, in the city, we need to make sure we get proper people. We have our commissioners on staff right now. You're a part of education, so you understand this very well. We need to have people in positions who know what they're doing. If we're going to pay them the salaries that we're paying them, then they need to know what they're doing. Because litigation that has been brought against the city, that's why we're where we're at $3 million. And I won't go into any other aspect of that, is that to say that this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous of my money. And I'm a taxpayer. I don't work for the city. I don't work for the city anymore. So when I get my tax bill, I have to pay it. And that tax money goes towards all the employees and everything else in this city that I live in. And I've been here for 52 years in this city, okay? That's a lot of time to put into anything. We can pay $3 million, but we can't even put swings on our playgrounds for our children. I didn't want to bring it up, but I'm going to bring it up. If I can't bring it up in the board meeting, I'm going to bring it up here. We have 3 locations, 4 really, and we have no swings on the grounds for the kids. Not a single one. And I listened to Commissioner Bass say what she had to say about it. We all have children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. But as a taxpayer, you're telling me that I got to pay this kind of money, but I can't take my kids to the park to get on the swing to swing. Come on, y'all. That's why I said what I said. You got to check yourself, because enough is enough. The economy right now is really bad. You know that? In case you guys haven't felt it yet, it's really bad. And it's getting worse, okay? Please rethink these things. Let's get some good people in, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is ridiculous.
Audrey Dominguez, 1147 Janet Avenue. Last week's, the previous meeting held September 13th. The internal auditor, Tony Bronson, stated that the outside auditor's opinion, which is Markham LLP, qualified every single fund of the city except the ARPA fund. Now, what makes an audit report qualified? I looked all this up just to make sure. A qualified opinion indicates that there was either a scope limitation, an issue discovered in the audit of the financials that were not pervasive, or an inadequate footnote disclosure. A qualified audit report is a report issued by an auditor that reports certain discrepancies in the financial statement prepared by the entity. Who is the entity? The finance department. These discrepancies are typically termed as qualifications. As Mr. Bronson stated, who has the best interest for the city? Now, as the mayor stated, the last meeting, JLAC gave us until November 1st or else. Or else can mean a lot. Now, in my opinion, you can hire all the consulting firms and external auditors, pay them hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars. Eventually, everything's going to come out. As a matter of fact, I would like the commission to do an inquiry about a finance staff that worked here. Her name is Jeanette. She was terminated. She knew the so-called antiquated system. Mr. Bronson brought her back because she was the only one that proved that the system worked fine. Well, guess what? When the city manager found out that she was back, he terminated her. It all connects to the ARPA fund. And as the former Commissioner, Vice Mayor Dottie Johnson used to say, follow the money. I want to remind the commissioners that all the consultants, all the auditors report to you, not the city manager, they report to you. Okay? Now, I want to speak regarding something else that I looked up and I was there. I would like to find out or get an update regarding an application, it was a special commission meeting, August 22nd. It was a special commission meeting for the restoration of the city's historical fire station. The meeting it was $250,000 plus the city would match $125,000. I'd like to know what happened to that project.
What was the date, Commissioner?
It was a special commission meeting, August 22nd, 2022.
August 22nd. Okay, thank you. All right, citizen forum is still open. Citizens forum is closed. Okay, there are a lot of things that were brought up during our citizens forum. And Mr. Manager, I hope we were taking notes. So to Ms.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Mobley, as it relates to the $2,000 bill, did you give your number to?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Ashley?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so can we make sure that we answer those questions?
Yes, I'd like to request the support of the commission with that item as well.
We do support. We want it to be resolved. I think I can speak for everybody that says, and I think she said that she's not the only person, but you said it's on 140th Street. Okay, so we want to make sure that Mr. Manager, we canvass the area to see, because she said she's not the only person being affected by this high increase in that area. And then we move to.
If I may, Mr. Manager, excuse me, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Manager.
Yes. So we are very aware of the situation that's going on there, and we are fighting actually with Miami-Dade County Water and Sewer Division with regarding to these bill increases. So I'm requesting the support of at least one member of the commission to help assist the administration with moving this item forward down at the county. Currently, all administration of water bills by contract are done by Miami-Dade County. So yes, it's the city of Opa-locka's water, it's the city of Opa-locka's water system, but they are sending our residents these exorbitant amount of bills without even giving any indication to the city of Opa-locka of what's occurring. They're putting our residents on payment plans without having any feedback with the city administration as well, and it's becoming a problem. And the worst thing that they're doing, they have a contract that says they have sole administration of our water and sewer, and when residents go to them and complain, they say, go see the city, knowing that we can't do anything about it. I've asked everything at the administrative level. As we're aware, it's Miami-Dade County is mayor managed. So I believe I'm requesting support now for the elected officials to assist us with the resolution of this issue, because as Ms. Mobley said, she's not the only one, and it's becoming a problem. And our hands are really tied as to what we have the power to do to fix it. They're just dumping it and saying, we decided this is how we're going to handle this water bill. And there's not a whole lot under this contract that we can say for our residents as the city.
Well, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, Ms. Mobley. And I don't think you have a fight from this commission, because we love to call, and we will, I know I will, and I'm sure my other colleagues will call. But in the interim, Mr. Manager, make another call and make another attempt.
Absolutely. We will continue.
Just make another one, because we will support, but you don't. Just make another call.
We will continue to do so.
Alrighty.
We won't stop the fight, sir.
Okay. And Mr. Dennis and his public records request that he said he filed. I don't know who deals with that, but please. Ms. Jasmine talked about, have we been in contact with the hotel that they're at to see what's going on? I know you guys had a meeting yesterday, I believe, or the day before yesterday.
Yes, so this is a recent issue that just occurred with Miss Jasmine. Initially, she stated that she was promised a 2-bedroom for her and her newborn. That didn't occur. She called me. I went to the hotel to see if we could move her into a 2-bedroom. I met with her. I met with the hotel staff, which was very friendly and very supportive. And I also called the Glorietta management team. Glorietta management team wasn't particularly helpful, but the hotel staff was. We went through the roster. There were no 2-bedrooms available. So next she contacted me and said that she believed that the room that she was in had fleas. So I went back out there and we have 58 families that are there, and no other families have reported fleas or any type of insects in their room. But I went back out there with our entire team and administration. We met with her again. We met with the hotel staff again. If there are no 2-bedrooms available, are there any 1-bedrooms available that are vacant? We found her another vacant room 227. We moved her and her baby into that room. That was the last correspondence that I had from her. Next, I was told that she contacted State Representative Ashley Gant's office, Congresswoman Frederica Wilson's office, and others, stating that the new room that she'd been placed in also had fleas. So what we're working on now is to find, is there another hotel that we can send this resident to?
Okay. I think that's our concern, because she said live vermin in her rooms and that her baby is getting bit. You said fleas, she said bed bugs. I just want to make sure that we are up on this.
Absolutely,
And not
sir.
sweeping it under the rug. And Mr. Bruce brought up York Street defense and a resolution.
Absolutely. The time I've met with Mr. Bruce, the time frame is still the same time frame. Yes, there's been commission meetings where he's come up and said, and as I've stated to him, and as is in place, there are no residents of York Street that are currently being fined. And we've actually suspended all proceedings. With the special magistrate until we can come to a resolution. That remains in place. Further, an appointment was made with Mr. Bruce and his family for the surveyor to come out to his home and get that survey done. I was told Saturday that was completed. We have not received that back. Once we receive that back, we will again have another meeting with Mr. Bruce to determine what the resolution is. But this is the same process that was discussed and outlaid, and this is the process that we're following to try to support Mr. Bruce with the resolution of his issue. And as I said to Mr. Bruce, if the city survey matches your survey, there's no reason for us to continue to meet or do anything. But please allow us the time to get the survey back, which we don't have at this time.
Okay, but he said he received a code enforcement violation, I believe, a week ago.
So I'll have to look into that, because as I stated before, there is a moratorium on any citations of York Street. As I announced, as I put in writing to code enforcement, as I've shared with you. And if there is any issues that you have regarding citations, we're just a phone call away or email away. What we agreed in our meeting has not changed. And from the city standpoint, we're still proceeding with that. So, Mr. Mayor, I will meet with code enforcement manager, Mrs. Wilcox, to see why that was sent to his home and if it is indeed a citation regarding encroachment. But the moratorium remains, and we will not be accepting any payments for fines for encroachment for any residents of York Street, as we have not been.
Okay, and I'm gonna skip over this and I'll come back to it. Ms. Banks had a lot of questions on the insurance increase. So can you set up something with her to explain to what's?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And also, Commissioner Dominguez talked about the ARPA funds not being qualified. So can we set something up with her to explain to her what that means, and to the commission as well? Because we were there when it was stated.
Absolutely. So would you like a workshop?
You can call us individually, but
Okay.
now I'm gonna go back to this one because Mr. Manager, I just want to make sure that we are responsive to our residents.
Yes, sir.
And for Commissioner Titus to come here and say those things, and I'm gonna use Commissioner Williams's term, it gave me pause. Because like she stated, she's been in this, she was an elected official here, she was also our city clerk, and she also remains active as a community advocate. And I know I received that email that she reached out to you and there was no reply. So,
Mr. Mayor? So,
and the tongue lashing, Mr. Manager.
So for the record, and I don't know if there is someone else that I'm being misconstrued with. I have never had a phone call with our wonderful Vice Mayor Rose Titus. We've never had a phone call. All of our meetings have been in person, and I've never had a meeting with her outside the presence of another individual. When we received the email, all messages are public records. I directed the IT director to determine if there were any messages left by Rose Titus for me or Miss Lawson, because she stated not only that she reached out to me, she said she stated she reached out to Miss Lawson. And for the record, the only message that was found was sent to Assistant City Manager George Ellis. And he did not respond to that. I had a meeting with Mr. George Ellis. I told him that was completely unacceptable. I directed him to contact Rose Titus immediately. He said he did. He said he had a wonderful conversation. With Commissioner Rose Titus, that he took all your concerns and that all of them have been addressed. If that is different from your understanding of what occurred, Commissioner, I apologize. And I will see to it that that gets it. I apologize on behalf of my staff, and I will see that that get addressed immediately. I want you to know that everything, there's a list here. Everything that Commissioner Titus has ever asked of the city, I've provided. She gave the recommendation that we hire Solomon Bancoli as an employee of the city of Opa-locka. That was a great recommendation. We followed that recommendation. He's been a wonderful asset to the city. She requested the use of Sherbundi Village for her senior prom. We worked with her with that. We facilitated that and are prepared to do it again. There was a list. You said you were starting a nonprofit of citizens that were concerned. I offered to provide you meeting space in the city of Opa-locka. Had a follow-up meeting with you to say if you needed that space. You said you started a nonprofit organization. You no longer needed that space. So I've tried to, as we do with all the residents, I try to be accommodating to all of the requests, and specifically for the member of Commissioner Rose Titus. In fact, I spoke with Commissioner Bass for the work that we're going to be doing on the Rose Titus Prayer Garden. Our next meeting was supposed to be setting up a video shoot with you and Commissioner Bass to promote this prayer garden. I apologize if any member of my staff has been unsupportive or you feel non-responsive. This is the information that was given to me. I can only speak to the things that occurred when you and I have been present, and I've always tried to say yes to all of your requests. And I will continue to work with her. I hope we can still do that video shoot with Commissioner Bass regarding the prayer garden, and continue to be responsive to our residents.
Mayor.
Commissioner Kelly.
I know you, Mr. Mayor, you tried to go over these items, and I know for the brevity of time, and I had said to myself, I really was not going to say much. We've had several citizens come up tonight on water bill issues and other issues. Ms. Mobley that came up, I raised, is very concerned about the county's high water billing a few months ago. Mr. Williams came to meet me Monday. I sent that to the manager via meet me Monday. As was stated here in one of the meetings, the county's in control of that. We have no control. There's nothing we can do about it, et cetera, so forth. Now, tonight, we're asked to please make a call. we do need to make a call because our residents are impacted, but it's not new. Mr. Baskin is here. It's not new. It's not new. It's not new. It's over and over again. And some of the things that are being raised here tonight are not new issues. And I'm going to go past being paused. I am totally upset about the fact that not only is she a citizen, but she has some historic firsts, and every citizen ought to be treated the same. Don't misunderstand me. But I've served with Rose Titus. She's one of those folks don't say a lot. You got to really push her buttons to make her say anything. And for her to have to come tonight to do what she did, to say what she did, and she's sitting over there now shaking her head to some of these comments. She's not here about a photo shoot. She's already thanked us for the prayer garden before. She's here on simple concerns as a citizen. And then she sent it to us as elected official after being told not to. But she sent it to us. We all weighed in, and she still didn't get a call from the manager. After we weighed in, she still did not get a call from the city manager. She eventually got a call from an assistant after elected officials asked about this issue. So what does that tell you? We can inquire and ask, and I'll still move when I want to move. I'll respond when I want to respond. And I appreciate all of the folks giving their names to folks, to the young lady from the manager staff, but I get that complaint too. That folks get their name, their address, and they're not contacted. Talked to the gentleman that was your last meeting. He reached out to me twice, came to the office, hadn't heard anything. He's been here before the commission. We're going to get with him. I'm not going to walk on eggshells. You've heard the citizens. You've heard their concerns. All of us up here are put here by the people. The manager, the attorney, the clerk, and every other employee works really under the purview of policy of this commission. Most of the employees work for the manager, but all of us are accountable to the people. And for her to have to go through that, and this issue, and I've asked about the fence issue on York Street. We've passed legislation that basically said to enforce the code, and yet the manager just said he arbitrarily decided there's a moratorium on that area. Was there a moratorium on the other areas that have encroachment? Because when it came up in the meeting, there were a lot of properties that had encroachment issues, not just the ones that on York Street. So there's a moratorium for all of those as well. And how was the moratorium done? Arbitrarily. Did this commission pass moratorium? Because the last legislation actually said to enforce what was there. Because I suggested that. Don't do anything until you have a meeting with the folks in the area. And guess what? The managers had several meetings. I didn't even get the courtesy of knowing what was going on till the residents told me. I didn't have to be invited to know into the meeting, but it'd been nice to call Commissioner. We did follow up because these concerns came out of Meet Me Monday. That's where they came from. And so when I sit here and I listen to a lot of these things, they come from community concerns. Yes, the insurance is high because our comp, workman's comp, and some other things are high that caused our premiums to go up. I asked that in the briefing too. It's one of the reasons why they went up. And I asked, what are we doing to make sure we address that? We're working on it. We can comment all day. The residents are letting you know exactly what's going on. It's up to this commission to hold everybody accountable, including, every employee that works on the purview of whoever to do their job. A simple return phone call to someone who served in this community. Folks who came here last meeting talking about the lake, talking about Opa-locka Boulevard and the speeding and et cetera. A simple phone call back to say, we're working on your issue. We heard you. It's unacceptable. So I'm past pause. I don't even want a workshop. I want to really deal with in the setting of a meeting where we're voting on something. Because all the workshops we just talk about and nothing is resolved. There's been several meetings on these issues and no resolution. None whatsoever. I'm going to hold myself accountable just like everybody does, but I am not going to sit here and act like these things don't occur. I even sent emails to the manager. I sent stuff to him that takes forever to get returned and a message. I asked how much was left in my budget item via the clerk with email, so it's documented. It took over 8 days to get a response. And I'm an elected official. So I know these citizens, what they're saying. It takes too long to get a response for anything. No, you can't answer everything. You don't have the final answer, but you can acknowledge the fact that we're working on your issue. Everybody deserves that. So you can talk, you can do speeches, you can do all of it. I'm looking at action. And as long as I'm sitting here, I'm going to look at action. I'm not going to walk on eggshells. I don't have to please anybody trying to be friends. No, just do your job. Do your job. And I know we're in the interim process. We're trying to get a manager. That's a whole other story. But from now on, I'm going to just start putting it out there. My colleagues can vote however they want, but I am not going to sit here any longer just acting like everything is okay. Because it's not. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Yes, sir. Any other comments for citizens forum?
Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner
Really quick.
Williams?
Generally, I reserve my comments for the end. The encroachment, the fence. Why is the city attorney not involved in this? Why? I mean, I'm confused. We're talking about special magistrates. We're talking about legal things. Like, I would think this is a legal matter. And we've talked, there's been, this has been going on for a while. And I've heard you, sir, say you communicating back and forth with the manager's office, but I'm just confused. Why have the city attorney through the manager's office not been involved in this process so that she can take a look at anything dealing the legality of this? There's some disconnect. I am personally requesting that our city attorney, and you can tell me if this is something we could do, Madam Attorney, but you need to get involved. Because this is now like becoming, I feel like Venus and Serena tennis match right now. And so there needs to be someone that comes in the middle of this with some legal opinion, something that is going to direct this matter, because this is now, it's gone on too long.
Through the mayor.
Yeah.
Madam Attorney?
Yes, through the mayor. Commissioner Williams, I'm happy to get involved. If I am sent information and I'm engaged in that way, we will get involved. So I know that there was an issue that came before the commission a couple of months ago regarding the manager wanted to take litigation action against one particular property, and we were ready to do that. And then we were told that the issue had been resolved. And so I'm not sure how that issue was resolved, but that was resolved. I don't know about the other issues that are pending. That was the only one and I asked for information about that. And before getting the information, I was told that the issue had been resolved. So.
Mr. Mayor.
1 second, Mr. Manager. Commissioner Williams?
So that's what I'm talking about. It's been resolved. That's it. Nothing, but that's illegal. We have 3 charter members. And every single charter member, if it's their place to get involved, I'm gonna just speak for everybody. We need you involved. And whatever it is that the manager's office need to send, I am requesting that information is sent to the city attorney so she can mediate this situation and give some clear direction, because I can't, we're doing this dance and it needs to end. I'm not saying she's going to end it, but I do know that there will be some clear legal advice that she can give both sides. This is a city issue. She is our city attorney. We have to use her, and we're placating. Well, I'm not gonna, it's enough. I'm tired of this. We have to she's our attorney. We have to work together. Please forward her all the information she needs to make it happen or to assist. And like, again, I usually don't speak during citizens forum. One day, I'm going to be sitting out there, just like Commissioner Dominguez and just like Vice Mayor Titus. I am going to be a former commissioner, and we're going to be former commissioners and former mayors and and we give our time and effort and energy to, you can't even believe, to the 10th power, to the 19th power, and some for pennies. And so the least we could do when I sit out there is get our emails answered or get our inquiries answered. The least. And what I think what bothered me, I'm so sorry, I haven't been as active on my emails, but I think what bothers me is you said you went walking, you saw code violations. That's what citizens are supposed to do. And you were reporting code violations that I can tell you I've been reporting for, I can't tell you, and I'm sitting up here. And so we gotta do better. We gotta do better. So thank you so much. I have one word, and I'm only gonna say this one word. I said it. I'm exhausted saying it. Communication. The communication is so lackluster. We gotta do better. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Manager.
Thank you. So as I said in the meeting with all of the residents of York Street, and I said at the commission meeting, as soon as we get the survey information, we will be having a meeting with the city attorney and forwarding her that information, because what we'd like to do, as I said in the commission meeting, was get a document from her that would allow the city to move the fence or barrier at the cost of the city, if we're found to be encroachment. That was the solution that I recommended at the time that this was brought up. That was the plan that was stated. We have been moving as fast and quickly as possible. We have not received back the surveys. If we receive back the surveys, I certainly, as city manager, am not going to be drafting up any document that would permit a resident to allow us to move their fence for them. That is absolutely information that I stated at the time of the meeting with the residents would be going to the city attorney. And that is the exact same information that I stated at the time of the commission meeting. We will have no problem having the city attorney do her legal work. And we look forward to working with her should there be found any encroachment. The challenge here is that the survey may come back to reflect exactly what Mr. Bruce's survey is saying. And then there is no issue. There's no issue. There's nothing to, there's no encroachment. And the city's also paying for that. We're in other cities, they force their residents to pay for those types of surveys, and not the type of survey that he has. It's a survey that actually is very expensive and it matches the plats over at the county. The city's paying for that. And that's why our surveys take a little bit longer than the one that you received, sir. And absolutely, if our survey matches your survey, there is no issue. There is no encroachment, which is why, as
just as Commissioner Kelly stated, he'd like to see something done for the residents, and this is what was proffered, the plan that was proffered and stated that we wanted to do for our residents over at York Street. Thank you.
I requested, I'm sorry, Mayor, Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner
I
Williams.
requested for the information to be given to the city attorney. I requested, I'm there, that's a
When we
request.
get when we get the information, we will forward it to,
Well, I'm saying that whatever information that is on record that you all have now, so that she can begin to look at that information, not when.
so for clarification, Commissioner, what is it that you want forwarded to the city
I
attorney
want
now?
her to be, not when a document or that, I want her to be able to have a conversation with the residents. Or I'm sorry, I know you can't do that, but have a conversation to be able to see with the manager's office, to see the information that the resident that he has already provided. She is in the dark. She's in the dark. She does not know what is going on.
Well, if she has time to address something that we don't know is an issue, then absolutely, I will set up a time so I will get his documents, which we cannot use, and forward those to the city attorney for her review. Thank you.
Commissioner Williams, does that, Mr. Bruce, we gotta move on.
Decide what documents.
Okay, so we need to move on to our consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Kelly?
yeah, we need to move on, but citizens come for a reason. They come for a reason to get a resolution to issues and concerns. And everybody want to leave, I got that, but he's been here 4 or 5 times. Now we got a back and forth about whether attorney will be involved. All of this is not new. That's what's frustrating me. You all know it's not new. It's not new. It's just amazing that information flows when it's convenient. Just like on some of my Meet Me Monday, you all have been up here since I've been doing it. Y'all haven't received, all of a sudden, y'all got CC'd on a Meet Me Monday response, but you haven't got CC'd on all of them. Because if you had, you would see some of these concerns are raised then. So if we're gonna have the attorney involved or what have you, I'm gonna defer to you for the moment, Mr. Mayor. For the moment, I'll defer to you because I know you want to move the meeting. But I don't want Mr. Bruce to have to come back here. I don't want some of these residents to have to keep coming back here over the same thing. I don't want to do it. It's not fair to them to have to keep coming back. That's why they come here, to get resolution to their concerns, to their elected representatives. 4 times, 5 times. My survey is better than yours. Give me a break. Nobody still answered the question, how did the manager do a moratorium on anything without the commission approval? That's the legal question there that the attorney can ask, not now, because we'll be a favor, but she can give it to us in writing. Because I'm concerned how that occurred. Because again, it wasn't just the properties on York Street that we had encroachment issues, there was some all over. If I recall from code enforcement, there were about 30 or 40 properties, but these seem to take the attention. So yeah, I know we're in a hurry. I know we want to go back and forth. But when citizens come, we need to get a resolution. So I'm going to defer to you, Mr. Mayor, and let you decide how you want to approach it. But I don't think residents have to come back for the same thing. So we're waiting on the survey, or waiting on the survey to be reduced to see if it matches. Because you, as the citizen said, you saw his property. So I'll defer that to you. We'll move on. But I'm going to be asking every day. And I'm going to CC all y'all on the same email if the attorney allows me, so we can get a resolution to these and other issues. Finally. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, so Mr. Manager, we do need to move on to the business, but to Commissioner Williams' point and the city attorney, I think what she's requesting is that you two meet and then you meet with Mr. Bruce to come up with a resolution. To Commissioner Kelly's point, 4 or 5 times is a long time. So we want to come to a resolve. And doing the tennis match right now at the meeting will not bring us to a resolve. So my suggestion, I am totally in agreement with Commissioner Williams that you and the city attorney meet as it relates to this issue. And then you meet with Mr. Bruce. And I'm gonna take him, and then provide the commission with that report.
Certainly.
Okay, as we move on to our consent agenda. Madam Attorney 13-2.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, authorizing the interim city manager to issue a request for qualifications for professional design, engineering, and construction services required for a transfer station at Burlington Street within the city in an amount not to exceed $700,000, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the interim city manager.
Can I get a motion?
Move for discussion.
Move for discussion by Commissioner Kelly. Can I get a
Second.
second by Commissioner Bass? Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is something that we have taken on as part of the city's initiative to clean up the city. When I was appointed as interim city manager, we had a exorbitant amount of expenses that were going to hauling trash and illegal dumping. Once we did a review and study with our Public Works Department, we believe that a lot of that is due to when the Miami-Dade County shut down, required the city of Opa-locka to shut down its transfer station. So we found in the study that the closest dumping station or transfer station is actually in Miami Gardens, and there's one that's 6 miles in Hialeah. So we want to do the work to reopen the transfer station here in the city of Opa-locka, so that the residents of the city of Opa-locka have some place to bring their refuse and their trash and other materials. We see this as a part of the beautification of the city and to assist keeping the city clean. Thank you.
All right, and it was open for discussion. Commissioner Kelly?
Mr. Mayor, thank you. I heard the comments in my briefing and two things that I raised, and I wanted to hear the comments from the manager, see if they would be addressed. Number one, how we're going to communicate to the residents that we're proffering bringing back the transfer station. I did see the picture, the renderings. My concern was, have we talked to them? Are they know it's coming back, how they feel about it, the design of how it's going to be, because we do have the children that walk to Robert Ingham going through there. So that was one concern, how we're going to communicate to the residents. And also, since the manager just mentioned it, I'd like to get a copy of the study that we did to come to this conclusion. So I'd like to copy the study and also how we're going to communicate to the residents should this pass and go forward. And of course, I raised the other concern, 700,000, but I was assured by staff that they put an extra couple of 100,000 in there, because it seems when we put those numbers out there, it's not enough. So that gave me a little more comfort level, but I want to make sure we do communicate as we go forward to the residents in that area. And I suggested even the cafe right there by the railroad tracks, because it's really close to the transfer station, has a possibility of a community meeting. So it's not like all of a sudden they see something going up and had no kind of input. So I wanted to put that on the record, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or concerns to the manager as it relates to this item? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Williams?
Yes.
Commissioner Bass?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, as we go into our add-on items, 14-1, Madam Attorney?
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, approving expenditures related to special events hosted by Commissioner Joseph L. Kelly for the remainder of fiscal year 2022 through 2023, providing for a corporation recitals, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by Commissioner Kelly.
All right, can I get a motion? Moved by Commissioner Bass,
Second.
second by Commissioner Williams, I believe was first. So Commissioner Williams, Commissioner Kelly, would you like to present this item?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As it says, to approve the expenditures, I was trying to get my balance early to try to get this completed, but I did have an idea of what I had left, so I did it based on that. As you can see, some of the items deal with things that are coming up with the government week and some of the other things I'd like to do. So it's a request that requires commission approval. So I want to bring it before the commission.
All right. Any questions or concerns to the sponsor? Hearing none. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Bass?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Williams?
Yes.
Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, Madam Attorney, 14-2.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, recognizing October 2023 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the City of Opa-locka, providing for a corporation of recitals, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by Commissioner Williams.
Can I get a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bass and Commissioner Kelly. Commissioner Williams, this is your item. Would you like to present it?
Pretty self-explanatory. Just want to make sure that we recognize the entire month of October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we plan to pink Opa-locka up during the month, which is, we know, Vice Mayor Irvin's color.
Mr.
That's
Mayor. Mayor,
Commissioner Kelly.
yeah, I definitely would like to co-sponsor Commissioner Williams. And also, since it's your item, are you going to, via the clerk, let us know when we're wearing our pink, both meetings, first meeting? We know the vice mayor gonna have on pink, but other than.
Well,
Vice Mayor, go pink on.
Since I don't own any pink,
Well.
but I will,
It's your item,
I will
so,
let you know,
we
I will
fair.
let you know, definitely the first meeting, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
No problem. And I think Vice Mayor about to say she want to co-sponsor it. I'm gonna say, get the whole commission
The whole-
co-sponsor this with you.
Of course.
Thank you. I am having shirts made for us, for breast cancer.
Okay, red? I'm
Well,
sorry.
we need red to make pink, so that's what my mother-in-law always say.
I
So,
love it.
yeah,
Thank
they'll
you.
be pink.
Okay, thank you all.
Okay.
Vice Mayor gonna paint the building pink if she had a.
She got on red and pink.
I'm about to
right
say
now.
she got a red and pink. Now she ready. All right, if hearing none other discussion on this item, Madam Clerk?
Vice Mayor Irvin?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Williams?
Yes.
Commissioner Bass?
Yes.
Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, Madam Attorney, 14-3 and 14-4, is it going on the ordinance or are we gonna do it right now for new items?
We read it in as 14-3 and 14-4.
We're gonna do it now?
Yeah.
Okay, so 14-3.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending Chapter 7, Article 1, Section 7-6 of the City of Opa-locka's Code of Ordinances to add new number 106, establishing a fee of $100 for the registration of recreational vehicles, amending Article 11, Division 10, Subdivision 2, Section 2-570.33, entitled Schedule of Civil Penalties, to remove language that parking is prohibited except in a trailer park, to provide for a $500 penalty for illegal placement or storage of a recreational vehicle, providing for a $500 penalty for illegal use of a recreational vehicle, and provide for a $500 penalty for non-registration of a recreational vehicle, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the interim city manager.
Okay, can we have a motion?
Move it for discussion.
Okay, moved by discussion,
Second
discussion for
discussion.
Commissioner Williams, second for discussion by Vice Mayor. Mr. Manager, this is your item. Can you present it, please? And then we're going to public hearing because this is an ordinance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is an item that the administration is bringing at the request of Vice Mayor Irvin to address some of the issues and concerns therein. It was necessary to split it into two separate items, one to cover the fees and the other to reflect registration.
Okay, so this is a public hearing item due to it being an ordinance. So public hearing is open. Hearing none, seeing none, public hearing is open.
Good evening, Audrey Dominguez, 1147 Jan Avenue. I do agree, we do need to clean up our city. Beautification is in everybody's mind. But my question is, I know Commissioner Kelly, you said you don't like no workshop, but how are the residents going to be informed regarding all these codes that are violations that are going to be put out? If they're, how they're going to be aware? We don't have no Facebook, Instagram. So we need to find, I need to know, how is this going to put out to the residents of Opa-locka?
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Public hearing is still open.
When we looking at,
Mr. Dennis, lift the mic over.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
When we're looking at a traveling trailer or a camping trailer, you do realize that there are people that have these trailers on their property living in it.
Yep.
So if Miami-Dade County ordinance allows that, how are we going to enforce that? Because you remember now, we got a shortage of housing here. And so if you ride throughout the county, you will see these trailers or campers on different properties, especially in unincorporated North Dade. So as far as you talk about the jet skis or dirt bikes, that's different. Because most of them sit on the trailer and they pretty much out in the yard where you see. But when you talk about a place where somebody is living, right next door to me, there are 2 campers on one property.
That's the problem.
So how do you enforce that when there's actually places that people are living with a shortage of housing? Not that it's a bad ordinance, because, trust me, I support the ordinance. I got people that crank up a boat every time I'm studying. But how do you enforce it? How do you bring it into compliance that those who have those type of vehicles stored on the property are aware of it? Pretty much what Commissioner Dominguez is saying. So the ordinance is great, but you gonna pass it and then you're gonna start surprising people. And now you're gonna have people with nervous breakdown. So if it's hard to find a place to live and you have these on the premises, it's something to think about. It's something to think about.
Mr. Mayor.
Okay. 1 second. Public hearing is still open. Public hearing is closed. Commissioner Bass, give me 1 second. Commissioner Williams opened up for discussion. So we'll go to Commissioner Williams and then we'll go to Vice Mayor.
Okay, thank you, through the mayor. So just to put this into some context, over a year ago, when as mayor, I was invited to Daniela Levine Cava, Mayor Cava's, maybe protocol on it, to a housing summit that she had. And during that housing summit, every mayor at the time went around the table to discuss what housing would look like, affordable housing. One of the clear things that came out of that conversation, that summit, was that people are using trailers to live, and that because of those trailers, they are exhausting the city's resources, sewer, water, etc. And so I remember coming back and letting the city know, or letting the dais at the time know that this was stated as, and in addition, over a year ago, the mayor of Hialeah stated that as he sat next to Mayor Cava, that he planned to bring legislation. And I thought it was interesting. Here we are a year later, he actually did it. It had nothing to do with targeting or anything, because in that same meeting, I then brought the boat legislation and said that people were living in boats and it was a thing. And now we know boats and trailer parks or trailer homes, that's a thing. And it's not just it's happening. And so a year ago, we started the steps to get in front of it. I'm glad to see this item here. However, to answer Commissioner Dominguez's question, I know during the boat legislation, there were some things that took place that we did. Can we make sure that we get behind? Is that something that we could do? I don't know who can answer that question, how that information funneled out to the residents. Yes.
Mr. Mayor, through the mayor, Commissioner Williams, that is in the next ordinance. And so
okay.
this one is to address the fines issue.
Okay.
Actually, it was kind of reversed. And so in the next one, you will see
Perfect.
language
Okay,
about
that's perfect.
a period of time to educate residents.
Got it. Okay. And then second, there's a strikeout. It says use of it's page 6. Are we striking this out? It's the third to the bottom.
Mr. Williams, would you like for me to answer it?
I think you're 2020-2, parking prohibited except in trailer park. That's the one you're talking about, or the one?
Yeah. Well, there's a it doesn't have a
Yes,
number on
it's intended to be stricken because this is I'm working with staff, and I guess Mr. Gay or Mr. Lee may be able to answer why, but basically they did not want it to relate to the trailer. Like this would prohibit them from being this. In other words, this prohibits right now, they're not supposed to be anywhere but trailer parks. So that was removing this and allowing this to be other places, because right now where you see them all over the city or whatever, they're not supposed to be there. So this removes that language so that it's consistent with the intent of the legislation, which is to impose fines, which is to be able to somehow, register these. And I think Mr. Gay would be in the best position to talk through the ordinance if that's what you all want to have, and the manager allows.
Okay, yeah, because I guess the way I'm reading it, it looks like it's removing the verbiage of mobile home trailer outside. Am I reading it wrong?
Would you like for me to call Mr. Gay?
Oh, sure.
All right, Mr. Gay?
Mayor and Commissioners, Gregory Gay. This particular language was stricken based on the fact that if there was a trailer park within the city of Opa-locka, this ordinance would be in conflict with that particular activity taking place. Now, at the same time, we don't want to have people's private properties to turn into trailer parks. That's why we had the regulations to limit the amount of trailers that they will have on their property. So that portion is stricken out because trailer parks are still an opportunity within the city. And if that was to occur on a particular property, you will be able to allow that trailer park activity to take place and you wouldn't be in conflict with it.
Okay. And Mr. Gay, lastly.
Wait, Commissioner Williams, I'm sorry, before you ask that second question. Sure. How is it in conflict if it says that they can do it as long as it's in a trailer park? So if we wanted to develop, because to Commissioner Williams's point, when trailers hook up to the sewer system, they exhaust it. So if you remove it, then you cannot have a trailer park. But now it says we can.
This language is actually speaking to the storage in private residential properties, not in trailer parks. So we struck it from the portion that's dealing with the private property. If you have a trailer park, that's a different operation, that's a different zoning, and it has its own requirements.
So there's another ordinance that speaks to allowing for trailers to be
in trailer parks.
In trailer parks. Can you give me that ordinance, please? Yeah. That's why I'm a little challenged.
Yeah, because I don't want to pass something.
Yeah, because if
confused on right now. I'm just a little. I just want to make sure because I'm in agreement, but we just got it. So
okay,
trying to.
And I'm sorry.
Unpack. No. I just want to make sure it's done right.
First and second reading.
Okay.
Okay. And then lastly, the penalty of $500. Did we consult? Like, did we look at other neighboring municipalities? Where did that come from? The $500 penalty.
The $500 penalty was pretty much something that was already consistent within our scheduling for fees and violations. So we just stayed consistent with that.
Okay. So this is like a penalty that our code enforcement would fine them. It would be a $500 penalty.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. That's it. Oh, wait, lastly, and there's no registration, there's no, or is this the next ordinance?
There is a registration fee that's associated with that,
Okay,
which
is that in
reflected.
here or is that the next ordinance?
It's actually in the next,
Okay, I'll stop asking questions. Thank you.
okay.
Okay. Vice Mayor?
Actually, just to correct the record, there's a registration fee in this ordinance. So this actually deals with two different sections of the City of Opa-locka Code of Ordinances. And there is a $100 registration fee in this one. So you will see it if you look under section 2, it says 106 is establishing a new number under that section, and it provides for a $100 registration fee.
So now I'm confused.
On page 2, there's under section 2, it says 106. They added a new line with the registration fee of $100.
Okay. So just need to be clear. So residents can have a trailer home with a registration fee of $100? Or are we saying you cannot have a trailer home on your property?
Within this particular ordinance, through the chair, we are basically looking at allowing one recreational vehicle per property within a single family or duplex residential area, which is actually going to be addressed in the next legislation. And you would pay that registration fee.
And that registration fee is a yearly registration fee or what? That just seems so low. Like I have a whole trailer home on my property and I'm only.
I believe it's the
only paying
annual fee.
$100 for registration.
Why you do that, Mr.? So for clarity, we are allowing trailer homes on private properties.
Correct. With a registration fee.
With a registration, because you just confused me, because initially we said that we wasn't allowed.
Yes.
And then now we are. Can we?
I need to ask a quick question. Let me just ask a question, please. Mr. Manager, Mr. Mayor. I just need.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay, my question is, first, we are allowing it to happen, to have a trailer home, right? But not to live in, correct? Just for your usage of going wherever you want to go. I'm trying to figure out if it's for recreational purposes or we're allowing this to be a resident for someone to live in.
Yeah,
that's my thing. And then if not, how do we go about making sure that these trailers don't eventually become a home for someone? Because right by my school, there's a trailer and a yard, and you can literally see the electrical thing on the floor, on the ground, going towards the trailer. So how are we going to police this to make sure that these trailers don't become permanent homes?
One of the things, through the chair, one of the things that we did look at as it relates to this particular legislation when we were crafting it, was the possibility that it could be utilized as a residential unit. One, we needed to have the properties registered so that we would be able to identify which properties had these RV being utilized on their site. We've even looked at the possibility of, through our landlord tenant ordinance, which we're going to be examining, to impose that particular registration as well, especially if you're going to be using it for rental basis. And that is something that will be collected on an annual fee. So we did look at it from that perspective. One of the things that we do not want to occur is where you have 2, 3, and 4 trailers on your property, and you're basically turning your single family home into a trailer park.
I got it. I'm sorry. So are we limiting sizes? Because if we just say trailer home, whatever, it can be from here down the street, or is it something where you know would be uncomfortable to live in?
Mr. Mayor,
Trailer homes vary in size, and really is based on the property itself. But, if you want to add language to limit the size of it, we're looking at a standard size trailer.
actually, I hate to butt in, but I just want to clear the record. That's going to be in your next ordinance, and it does have a size requirement that it talks about. So
Can I make a recommendation? Because to defer these items, if there's no rush, that way the commission can actually, because what was presented, what was understood, I can't speak for anybody else, but what was understood by me was that this legislation was to do away with trailers. And now it's saying that we can do trailers, but we're adding a fee to it. So I'm asking that you defer these items until the next regular commission meeting, and then in the briefings, explain to the commission exactly what this is, because we just got this.
yeah, these are not my items.
Well,
but,
to the
but to the
sponsor and the
manager, yeah.
co-sponsor, because he said he sponsored it and it was co-sponsored by Vice Mayor, that we defer these until the next regular commission meeting. And that way you all can, the manager can explain in the briefings as to what we are passing. Because at this point, I'm confused. I don't know what we're voting on.
If I may.
Oh, sorry, Vice Mayor.
Okay, I don't have a problem with us deferring it, but when you're out in the community, and I get accused of not going on the east side, but the east side is where I got this idea from. There was a lady that was showing me where the trailer literally was attached almost to her fence. And she was like, if ever this trailer is to catch on fire, I'm going to lose my house. I come over on the west side and I'm asked, well, how many trailers are you going to allow residents to have in their yard? It's like 2 or 3 trailers here. So if this is really if we're going to have one, that's fine. But to have 2 or 3 living in it and people living in it is horrible. As far as like the electricity, how are they getting the electricity? What are they doing with the waste that they're collecting? So there was a lot of different issues that I figured needed to be addressed. I don't have a problem with deferring this because, like you said, we just got it to do some critiquing, because if we're going to start, once we give notification, if we're going to start when they violated a $500 penalty, to start out, we definitely have to make sure that everybody in this city knows that what's allowed, what's expected, what's not expected, because $500 will make a nice shopping spree for people.
Commissioner Kelly.
I'm
sorry, Vice Mayor.
I'm good.
I'm not going shopping, but this again also has come up. And I think Vice Mayor mentioned the example she gave about the property next to the fence. And one of the things that I got from the manager's office, because it came up in a meeting Monday, was the whole trucks and how do we know that they're hooked up properly, et cetera. And I was told that we have a system in place to be able to make sure that they are hooked up if they doing water, sewer, et cetera. That was the response I got. So I'm assuming we have a way that we're already doing that, because what I was told in the email response for my meeting Monday. I do agree, and that's why I'm glad the mayor's deferring it, because $500 is a lot of money. We're going to go that route. And the fact that we're not clear right now means we need to make sure that we are clear. As a matter of fact, Mr. Mayor, I would hope maybe even before the briefing, if there's some information that you all have been asking tonight, you and my colleague, about what's on the books, what's not, we can get that before the briefing. Because, our briefing is going to come a couple of days before the meeting. So we can get that in advance, or any information that will help us to understand it better, et cetera. I think that would be helpful going forward. I think all of us have seen the trailers, we've seen the numerous things, but there is a housing challenge. And people say all the time, I have nowhere else to stay. But the law is the law, whatever it's going to be. We just have to make sure that we recognize in our city, as the vice mayor is saying, $500 is a lot of money. And some of these trailers and some of them that she saw on the east side, they're families, they're children. So if they can't stay there, they gotta go somewhere. We don't wanna be, accused outright of putting somebody on the street. So we need to have a plan on how we're gonna deal with before we actually enforce it or start to enforce it. So I look forward to that information and deferring. I think it's good. Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, if I may say so also, since we're gonna defer the item, if we could also come up with something, because I think we all saw the one that's on, I think it's Alexandria Drive, right next to Glorietta, where it's in horrible shape, but there's people living in there. Like, we have to come up with some guidelines, like, if you're gonna have this, it's gonna have a decent roof, it's gonna have windows.
Well, this is your as the co-sponsor, so you could work, you can bring all that back. You can work you ain't got to work all that out. This is your legislation, as the manager stated.
And if I could, Mr. Mayor, just suggestion, because we keep, it's gonna be code related. So I would hope at our briefing also, we would have code there at that meeting as well, because it seems like it's a lot of code related stuff too. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And Mr. Manager, Commissioner Williams brought this up. So can you have the legislative aid provide us with the resolution, the ordinance that Mayor Bovo sponsored in the city of Hialeah? Because I would love to see what that actually looks like.
Absolutely.
All right. And any other legislation that is related to this, but specifically, because she highlighted that specific ordinance, I would love to see what it looks like. And
through the mayor, I know Vice Mayor is working on this with the manager's office. So I just want to personally, and I agree, we can't throw anyone out, but I want to see tough, like we're almost kind of counterproducting ourselves. We're talking about beautification on one hand, and on the other hand, we're like, okay, we're gonna look a blind eye and let everyone have a trailer. Like we gotta, it's almost like we gotta figure out which direction we're going to go in. Personally, I think we should go $1,000 fine. I personally think we should get tougher. I personally don't want any trailers on any property, but I don't know if we can legally do that, Madam Attorney. But I guarantee there's no trailers in other people's cities that don't live in Opa-locka. And I'm not putting you out there. I'm just saying anybody else. So like, I don't, Pembroke Pines don't have trailers all over the place. So if we're going to now allow, like lighten up, I appreciate Vice Mayor getting strong, but I feel like we need to be stronger. Like, this legislation needs to be beefed up. It needs to be stronger so that we can now have the enforcement of code, and we stop this issue. Because at the end of the day, we're going to be coming back talking about taxes, talking about how everything is going to be raised, because we have exhausted. So when you got 4 people living in a house and then another 4 people living in a trailer, can you imagine water, sewer, everything else, and all those lines hooked up to the trailer and boat? Like, I'm compassionate as all outdoors, but at some point, like, we have to stop the bleeding. But I'm compassionate. I don't want to put anyone out. No, we don't want to put anyone out. We're going to help our citizens figure out what to do. But we have tax paying people that pay good taxes. We saw a lot of them pay good taxes to live here and have lived here and have bought their homes for years. So do we now say, okay, well, we're going to give a pass to the people that don't pay taxes? We're going to give a pass to the people. We can't do that. If it's beautification, let's stick to it. And that would bring our property values down. So what are we're saying? Property, the manager is saying property values went up. So this is that. But now let's beef this thing up so we can make our property values go up even more. So that we could put a line across that foolishness that unfortunately should have stopped a year ago in Hialeah, that we stop it now, that we should have stopped a year ago. Thank you.
Okay, so Madam Attorney, I think it's the will of the commission to defer this item. Will we need to vote to defer? Because normally that's the custom here.
Yes, sir.
All right, so can we combine the items or do we need to vote?
Separately, yes, sir.
All right, so the motion was made to, well, by me, to defer item 14.3.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kelly. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Baz.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin.
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion to
Next one.
motion to defer passes 5-0.
Okay, motion made to defer 14.4 by Commissioner Kelly. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, second
Okay.
by
Everybody.
second by Vice Mayor, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Baz.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin.
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly.
Yes.
Commissioner Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion to defer passes 5-0.
All right, as we get ready to go into our planning and zoning items, these are public hearing items. So 15A1.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, approving the final site plan request for the construction of 6 residential live-work units on the 5 vacant parcel site at the northeast corner of Duval Street and Alibaba Avenue, and identified by folios 08-2122-003-1490, 08-2122-003-1500, 08-2122-003-1510, 08-2122-003-1520, 08-2122-003-1530 in the R1 zoning district and within the Magnolia North Mixed Use Overlay District, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the interim city manager.
All right, can I get a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor, second by Commissioner Bass. Mr. Manager, can you introduce this item?
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Mayor. This is a project that has been long in coming and we're very excited to move it forward. It's coming out of our Community Development Department. We have the actual vendor here to answer any questions that you may have. And we also have the Director of Community Development, Mr. Gay, also available to entertain any of your questions.
Okay, is the vendor going to present something? Or just
No, not to my knowledge, sir.
Okay, so this is I think we probably would ask you to ask questions, so let me open up, but that was my point, so just scoot on out the way real quick. So this is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open. Here, public hearing is open. You got up.
I don't have an issue with the project itself, but I got an issue with how this stuff going down. Right? Let me give you a prime example. 95-6, been screaming about this for the longest. Right? I always hear Mr. Gale, Mr. Lee say, oh, we put it in the paperwork. Watch what I'm getting ready to tell you here. It's never enforced. 22nd Avenue, everybody stuck their shovels in the ground, right? I go down 22nd Avenue going to work every day. Guess what? Nobody from the city of Opa-locka working on the project. Not one. Not one. Let's go to the flea market. Flea market being built up, right? How many people working at the flea market from the city of Opa-locka? 95-6. Employees come in, right? Had a job fair, nobody showed up. How many citizens are working from the citizen of Opa-locka? Right? Every time something comes up from the planning and development process, they will always say, oh, it's in the paperwork. Where's the enforcement? See, we could raise property taxes and raise the millage rate and talk about knocking off houses or trailers, but we can't find a way to put our citizens to work. Now, let me tell you why I got an issue with this here. Because the manager is in control of the daily, day-to-day operation of the city, according to the charter. Why is it not being enforced? You ran people out of HR as temporary employees, right? You bullied all the citizens, all the employees, they scared to talk. You can do that. You can antagonize employees, keep people from not wanting to talk, but you cannot enforce the charter to make sure the citizens of the city of Opa-locka work. Now, here's what we're going to do. And I know Mr. Lundy personally. We're going to make sure every resident that's on that property that he got, going to be from the city of Opa-locka. You ain't got to worry about it. I got the time to put in on it. Document, lease, whole 9. Because the manager ain't doing his job. Now, you got a whole project that went up on the old flea market Not one resident from the city of Opa-locka, according to the charter of 95-6, got hired. Now, when those companies go up and those warehouses come in with all different type of jobs, because again, I talked to the attorney. It was a simple agreement. Let me tell you why the agreement didn't go so y'all can see what this really about. Because your manager was trying to pull me in with a consulting agreement to take a check from the city and my job at the same time. So how could I work from Opa-locka and transition at the same time unless you're trying to get me some handcuffs from the state attorney's office? See, that's why the game plan gonna stop now. See, you can't get the enforcement and for people to work when you got a city manager that like to put stuff over people's head and got you tired and say, I got hold of you, now you can't move. That's why there's stuff going on and why we ain't got a new city manager right now. Game over.
All right. Citizens, sorry. Public hearing is still open. Public hearing is closed. Mr. Manager, you're gonna have Mr. Gay present this item?
Yes, I'd like to speak to a couple items first. There were two projects that were mentioned by Mr. Dennis. Both projects were, the development agreements were signed and passed by the commission before I became interim city manager. Every project that has moved forward out of the city of Opa-locka through the community development department has, and we've had extensive conversations about 95-6. I did, when I did have an understanding about his expertise and background, I did say, hey, come and assist us with enforcing of 95-6 because I'm going to start putting this in development agreement. You all have been invited to the job fairs. In fact, Circle of One was actually did the first job fair. We did put people out on the street. We are now with all of the major projects that we're pulling out of the city, enforcing that they have Opa-locka residents. Now, the challenges that they're coming back with is that, hey, a lot of the residents that are interviewing for these jobs, they can't get the jobs. So what we're looking at doing now is trying to set up some type of training program, which is also our approach to Mr. Dennis about to assist the city with setting up a training program, since to my understanding, that's something that he does to help people get jobs. So yes, it is true. And what he has to do with transitions and what that means for the state attorney's office, I really, that's his personal affairs, and there was no malintent by reaching out to someone that has expertise with his skills to assist the city with the enforcement of 95.6. Mr. Dennis and I had extensive conversations on it. He understood that when I came in here, this was something that was important to the administration. And we have done everything we can to get residents into some of these development jobs. And we have been somewhat successful. It's been slower than we expected, but we've been somewhat successful, as you've seen. And I believe, as Mr. Gave, you can report, we have a job fair coming up from another development. Is that correct?
Yes, we do.
Yes, please make that announcement. So we are doing everything we can to get residents into some of these development jobs.
All right, so Mr. Gay, let's focus on this item so that we can go ahead and hear from the vendor.
Gregory Gay, Director of Planning and Community Development. As was already previously stated, this is for the development of a 6-unit townhouse type development, which is a live work on the corner of Alibaba and Duval. This is being developed by the Palmetto Homes Group. It is a part of the Miami-Dade County infill initiative, where these homes will be sold for home ownership. So you have a home ownership opportunity that also serves as a live work. The live work aspect of it is where you can have an office space, or you can have some type of a small retail space, as long as it meets those particular minimum requirements. The average square footage of these particular units is about 1,400 to 1,500 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, with the office space facing toward Alibaba. And they will have 2 parking spaces per unit. And in addition to that, there is parking, on-street parking, that's being provided for the general use within the commercial and developments within that particular area, not geared specifically toward this particular use or this particular property, but nonetheless, it is available for those particular live work units that are there. That speaks to the site plan as it relates to the development agreement, it is a standard development agreement with two modifications. One of the modifications is dealing with the apprenticeship program. Mr. Lundy has done several projects within the community where he has utilized residents within the community to work on those particular projects. And he has developed this apprenticeship program for people needing a second chance to be able to be a part of this particular development process. That is going to be instituted as a part of his contribution within the development agreement. And also as it relates to the development agreement, as we know, because this is affordable housing being provided for first-time home buyers, although through Miami-Dade County, they focus mostly on first-time home buyers as it relates to them being either in the education system, first responders, or within the police or fire department. We know those particular aspects will be available, those particular individuals will be available and want to purchase these properties. But through Mr. Lundy, and he is the main go-through person as it relates to the sale of these particular properties, he's also going to focus on residents within the city of Opa-locka to give them the first opportunity to be a homeowner on this site as well. Those are the two modifications as it relates to the development agreement that have been agreed upon. And we wholeheartedly support this particular project. And we like for you to have to vote in the support. Thank you.
Okay, so do we have any questions or concerns for Mr. Gay on this item?
Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Williams?
So, Mr. Gay, you mentioned the apprenticeship program, and I know, for several years, we've discussed and talked about our residents not being able to supposedly get any of these jobs that are being provided. One of the things I'm unclear is we know from the very first development that Mr. Lundy developed and here in Opa-locka, he always figured out a way to use our residents. Where I'm not understanding, because I've been down this road, I mean, over and over, and every time someone comes in to build whatever, and we've talked, like it's, I'm tired of talking about it, really. How is it that he figured it out, but as a city, we can't figure it out? I'm confused, like how we can't figure out or understand that process, that every time when planning and zoning brings these, items to us, and that's always the first thing that someone's not, but why we can't figure this out?
I'm gonna have Mr. Lundy come up and speak on his particular program, but let me just say this as it relates to the city's position. We have written into our development agreement to encourage those particular developers to have a job fair, to have some type of programming. We're trying to get them to move closer toward doing something very similar to what Mr. Lundy has done in relationship to the apprenticeship opportunity. We have not been successful in getting that particular component put into the development agreement. And we've had some resistance from other developers basically saying, I have my development crew, I have all my people. I don't know if I can hire any additional people to be a part of the job. That's really the response that we get. And as much as we try to encourage them to say, at least take a look, at least try to hire some people that are residents within our city. We want that to be the case. We've had about 2 or 3 job fairs thus far, and there have been some residents hired as a part of that particular process. Our department, we try to stay in connection with them. And matter of fact, we just received a report not too long ago from one of the job fairs that was done in relationship to the GPT project. And basically, when you went through the report, They had X number of people apply for the jobs. They had X number of people go through the interview process. They may have hired one or two. Matter of fact, during our first job fair, they hired 2 people on the spot. Those 2 people didn't stay on the job. They didn't stay on the job. So that's the resistance that we're getting from the development community. Now, what Mr. Lundy has done is very unique, and I'll have him.
No, and I appreciate you giving an honest answer. I do, and I thank you for that part. It's almost like the barber shop, right? That kid that continues to sweep the hair on the floor. He can't cut the hair because he doesn't have the license yet. But he's there in the barbershop watching the barbers cut the hair so that eventually he's got the skill and the technique that maybe one day he will have that license and it'll push them. And I think that's that same thing that Mr. Lundy is doing. And I'm not trying to read into anything, but it's that same concept. So when I hear that there's some apprehension, well, you know me, Mr. Gay, I'm gonna keep it real. Then don't build. Don't come here because I don't understand. It's our way. It's what we want as a commission, not what they want. So I'm gonna default my question to Madam Attorney. In the development agreement, can we ensure that the developer creates an apprentice program where they're having residents, because we can't figure out when we have these little side willy-nilly career fairs that's doing absolutely nothing. It's just satisfying the agreement, but we're not getting the residents.
That is, to answer your question, that's probably about as far as you can go. We did take a look some time ago when the commission was interested in looking at, what kind of things we could do. And I think we even enhanced some of the language compared to what was in there before. But you would be hard pressed to find something, more stringent. And then I also just want to mention on the record, I think the resident who was speaking previously was saying that I don't think he said he talked to the city attorney because I haven't talked to anybody. I think he was saying talk to the city attorney. So I just wanted to mention that because I want to make sure that was.
So Madam Attorney, and then I'm done. Can you begin to look for some harder language in other development agreements that we can potentially add? And I'll be happy to sponsor that legislation and work with you. But I'm sure there's some a little bit beefier, if that's a word.
Yeah. So a lot of things, and I can talk off record with you, but a lot of it, we're constrained to some degree. And what the planning department tries to do is try to get as many concessions as they can with developers, but those development agreements are really agreements, and in some, most cases have nothing to do with whether they're able to develop the land or not legally.
Okay.
But Commissioner Williams,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. There's no way to add in the development agreement that, let's just say, I'm just throwing it out, that 5% of your workforce has to be residents of the city of Opa-locka. And I think, don't quote me, but I think I've seen cities do similar things like this, where they say that if you're going to develop here, you have to donate to the parks, you have to do this, you have to do that. And that's in the development agreement.
Yeah, because those are agreements. That's what I'm trying to
So
tell you
why
about.
can't we put that in the development agreement?
Because
5% of your workforce.
Because they're agreements, they're things that are being agreed to by. Now, there are some things that you can put in your ordinances, and maybe some things are legal, some are not. And I'll tell you, you have to even be careful with that, because sometimes funding that comes, if they're using certain funding, some state funding or some federal funding, they may not allow that language to be added in it. And so we just have to be very careful. I'm not saying you can't do it or can't do some things if you can agree.
So if our standard development agreement is in place, and to Commissioner Williams's point, and she says, and I'm just throwing it again, 5% of the workforce that works on this project must be residents of the city of Opa-locka. If that's the standard agreement, and that is agreed to upon both parties, why can't that language be in the standard developers
Right.
agreement presented to the developer by the city of Opa-locka? And to her point, and if you don't abide by what we say, you can't develop here. Other
Okay.
cities do this. They require certain looks, they require certain jobs, they require certain donations to parks and other things. So
Yeah.
why is it why we
What
can't
I'm trying to tell
adopt
you,
that
Mayor,
here?
is that it is an agreement. So let me talk to you
So
about
can
it
the
offline.
agreement
Ye-
be-
Yes, right. And so basically meaning two parties. I'm not trying to fight against it. I think these are great ideas, but what I'm trying to tell you, and maybe Mr. Gay can do it a little bit more eloquently, but what I'm trying to tell you is that it's no, we have a standard agreement that I think goes as far as probably we can go legally. But there are some times that they're able to get additional concessions, and they do that. There are sometimes they're able to, do something, but you can't extort people basically to.
No, we're not extorting
But I'm
people,
saying,
but
what I'm saying
on
is
the-
if they meet certain standards of your
That's an
code
interesting
and.
word, Madam
Yeah.
Attorney. That's a very
Sorry.
interesting word.
Sorry,
You don't
well,
mess
let
with
me tell you, the reason
Come on
why,
now.
this comes up is because sometimes you do hear people saying, well, you must contribute to, some commissioners think that you must contribute to this. You really
No,
can't.
we're not
you
asking
really,
them to
right.
contribute to our campaign fund.
Right. No,
but
no, I know,
I
but
don't-
even, no, I understand. Mr. Mayor, let me,
Okay, let me say
do
this.
it off
We
the-
shifted off.
yeah.
I'm asking you, like Commissioner Williams said, and we'll go back to get back on this item because we veered off, to explore adding into the standard development agreement that you must hire a percentage of your workforce must be Opa-locka residents. So to explore that on the onset, and then during the presentations, Mr. Gay can say, well, this is what we suggested, that they said we will do 10%, but they said, no, we can't do 10%, we could do 3%. So that type of language I think can happen, because just like you said, it's an agreement, and I'm only going by what you said. So, and I know the hour is far spent, but and that's the only way we would know if it can happen, because like you said, it's an agreement. So,
Mr.
but
Mayor.
in the initial developers agreement, can we create something? And I think Commissioner Williams said she's even willing to sponsor it, that language is placed. Please.
Right.
Consider-
So I think what they can do is we can look at the agreement that's given out by community development or planning and zoning, and we can, community development, sorry. I think we can look at the language that's given out, but you can't really legislate it so much because it may not work. It's not a one size fits all, is what I'm trying to tell you. So we can look at it, they can have language, they can start with the baseline of things that they will, give the developers to review, but you have to realize it's getting more and more difficult to do these things, even with the work, laws and so forth. Yeah, I mean, it's just, listen, Tallahassee is allowing so much that a lot of things don't even have to come to the city commission. They can be done administratively now by law. It's being challenged, but there are so many things that you just can't do anymore. It's just not that easy. And I know it sounds like you just want, this to happen, but legally some of it may not be supported. So I'm just trying to kind of keep you all, give you the best advice. I know it's, it may not sound like what you want to hear, but I'm trying to give you the best legal advice.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I know we need to move on, but I just need to say this. And I normally stick out like the sore thumb, and right now I'm probably gonna be sticking out again, the sore thumb. But the reality is, I've walked through Opa-locka. I've spent time in Glorietta's apartment where we have our young sons and daughters who are not doing a thing with their lives. I have steered them into having trainings for the same purposes. They're not interested. My point is, do we have a database, or can we create a database before we demand that these investors, give 5% of our employees jobs? Do we have a database saying that they are qualified for these positions, or if they even want it?
I was just gonna say, within our development agreement, these developers are supposed to be working with South Florida employment opportunities.
Yeah, but my question is, do
So-
we have a database
The
where?
city itself does not have.
Okay, well, I
We
suggest.
utilize South
No, I
Florida.
would suggest that we create our own database with the residents who are qualified for these positions and what positions that they would want. So when we go after these developers and we say, look, we have a database of residents you can choose from. That would be my suggestion.
That's a great suggestion.
Commissioner Kelly?
On the site plan,
Yes, sir.
I really, I applaud Mr. Lundy. I've seen him down there working and I'm glad that this is occurring. I'm just gonna put on the record, you know what I'm gonna talk about? Parking. Because those off-street parking spots are really for whoever gets there first.
The off-street, no, the parking on the property.
Yeah,
is
I know.
for
That's
the
the one, but
residents.
you address these
And the
7 or 8.
the on-street parking.
Right, that's what
is
I'm talking
for
about,
the public.
not the 2 for the units, but as we know, everybody got 3 cars. So I'm always, every time we have a development, I'm going to mention parking because that's always an issue. And we're doing a lot of development down in Magnolia North, and a lot of that's going to wind up on Alabama or the surrounding area to go along with everything else that is down there, in terms of parking. So that's always an issue. And the only reason I bring it up because I know we put out a while back, a RFP or something to look at parking meters, et cetera. When does that come back, Mr. Manager?
I apologize. I was addressing another issue. Could you repeat that, Commissioner Kelly, please?
The parking meters that we put out a while
Yes.
back to us. So when does that come back in?
Yes, we anticipate that to come back the second commission meeting of next month.
Okay, because I every time we have development, regardless of where it is, I'm always concerned about parking. I know that was one of the areas that we're looking at. But as far as the site plan goes, I like the fact that's just an issue I have with parking and developments wherever. But I like the fact I see the folks down there working. And Mr. Lundy has developed a great initiative that I wish we could just piggyback on and do. But hopefully we will come up with our own database or something that we can model after what's going on. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
If there are no discussion questions on this item, I think we all love the item and we're excited to see it move forward. We're gonna call for the question, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Irvin,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams.
Yes.
Commissioner Bath.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes,
Motion passes 5-0.
okay, and then we're gonna go to the second item that's moved by Commissioner,
Second.
Madam Attorney.
Oh, she ready.
Exactly. Madam Attorney.
Y'all
A
been talking
resolution.
about the item for the last 20 minutes.
Oh.
I gotta read it into the record, Commissioner Kelly.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, approving the development agreement request for the construction of 6 residential live-work units on the 5 vacant parcel site at the northeast corner of Duval Street and Alibaba Avenue and identified by folios 08-2122-003-1490, 08-2122-003-1500, 08-2122-003-1510, 08-2122-003-1520, 08-2122-003-1530 in the R1 zoning district and within the Magnolia North mixed use overlay, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the interim city manager.
Okay, it was moved by Commissioner Kelly and I believe it was second by Vice Mayor Irvin.
Yes.
Mr. Manager, this item couples with the first one.
Yes,
As
sir.
Commissioner Kelly said, we've already talked about it for 20 minutes.
Yes, sir.
So I guess we can, do you want to present or we can call the question?
You may call the question unless there's any additional
Thank you.
questions.
Any questions for this item? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams.
Yes.
Commissioner Bath.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, as we get ready to go into our ordinances, 16A1, Madam Attorney.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending Article 1, Chapter 7, Section 7-5 of the City of Opa-locka Code of Ordinances to include provision for certificates of reoccupancy, providing for regulations, providing for penalties, providing for adoption of representations, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing for codification, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the interim city manager.
Can I get a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bass. Mr. Manager, you can present, then we'll open up for public hearing.
Thank you. This is the legislation that we have that we looked to proffer last year. The commission directed us to conduct a workshop with the community and then bring it back. We have now completed that and now are bringing it back. And I have our community development director, Mr. Gay, here if the commission has any questions about this item.
Okay, this is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. All right, any questions to the manager or Mr. Gay about this item? All right. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
motion passes first reading.
All right, as we go into our second reading ordinances, 16B1.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending the annual adopted general proprietary and special revenue funds budgets for the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2022, and ending September 30, 2023, adjusting revenues and expenditures as reflected in Exhibit A, providing for the expenditure of funds established by the budget, authorizing the city manager to take certain actions, providing for appropriation of all budgets and expenditures, providing for fees consistent with appropriations and amendment, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for conflict and repealer, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. The first reading and public hearing was held on September 13th, 2023. This is sponsored by the interim city manager.
Okay, can I get a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Bass. Mr. Manager, please present and then we'll open up for public hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the second reading of this ordinance. This is as our charter requires, any changes or shifts that we make in our line items has to be brought to the commission for approval through a budget amendment. We believe that this will be the second to last budget amendment for this fiscal year. And have Mr. Anathan, our budget administrator, here if the commission has any questions on this second reading.
Okay, this is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. Do we have any questions to Mr. Anathan or the manager on these budget amendments?
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Kelly?
thank you. Just one question. Under the number 9 on page 4, we're deferring the Parks and Rec bus to the next fiscal year. So we're using that. I'm trying to understand that right quick.
I'm actually familiar with that item, Mr. Anathan, if you want me to respond. So that particular item, the bus that we wanted to purchase for parks is going to cost about $250,000 to $300,000. We're looking to get through our support to lobby to get some support, $250,000 from the state to pay for that bus. And that we were told that that would be forthcoming in the next fiscal year.
Is it the bus? Wait a minute, is this a Parks and Rec bus or is this a seniors bus?
Well, the seniors program is under the Parks and
I know,
Recreation.
but I know it was mentioned that the seniors were getting a new bus. So is this the seniors for the seniors program or just
Yes.
a big bus in general?
Yes, yes, sir, seniors.
So this primarily for the seniors program
Yes, sir.
for $250,000?
Yes, their buses are extremely expensive.
No, I know the expense, so I just. Wow, okay, so since we aren't anticipating getting it, we're putting that into compensation of other things. And so we're hoping to buy the bus or get the bus through some means, hopefully in the next fiscal year.
That's correct, sir.
Okay, so now in the meantime, because I've heard different concerns about the current bus, what's our emergency or backup plan until that occurs?
To utilize if the bus goes down, we'll rent a bus until such time that another bus is available.
Okay, and that's why I'm asking. So I didn't see it in here, but probably somewhere in a general line item, if we have to rent, because I don't think the rentals inside of parks, line item would cover a bus for a length of time. It seems like it costs a lot, especially for the seniors. You're talking about a bigger bus, right?
Yes, you're correct, sir. We would pull that from the contingency line item.
Okay. All right, just want to make sure that, okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Manager, the only concern, not concern, the question I have, is you talked about this coming from funding from the state. The state legislator, they don't meet until, are we sure that we're gonna get that money? You said $250,000, and I know this last cycle, we didn't get anything from the state.
Correct.
So we submitted appropriations for.
No, it's a rollover request.
A rollover request.
And it may be able to be done administratively since we had tentative approval from the previous year. That's what I've been told.
I didn't mean tentative.
Yes, because we put that in the budget for last year.
No,
And it
you
was
specifically
actually,
said we're getting money from the state.
that's correct.
So it would have to be voted on by the legislators.
That's
through our state representative.
But this particular money, we'd already been promised this money and it was approved, but we never received it, even though we put requests in to pull it down. It was $250,000 for seniors.
Okay. Yeah.
What's the question?
Because I know we didn't get any money from senior program this last year. And then we're going into another year. Actually, they're in committee meetings now. Session will start in I believe January, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So how can we guarantee that by
There's
next year this time that we will have a bus?
This is
And I know that they don't approve money
This is not a-
administratively through the state.
this is not a guarantee. This is a hope that and a planning and a budget for what this is what a budget does, is try to say, how are we going to provide this? This is exactly how we budget grants and monies that we receive.
So, and then that's my concern. So we're rolling over this money in hopes that we're going to get more money when we were supposed to buy a senior bus 2 years ago. Well, a year and a half ago.
Well, I wasn't here 2 years ago.
A
so-
year and a half ago. And it's in every budget cycle, we said that we're gonna buy a bus. And then the next, we're gonna buy a bus. And the next one, we're gonna buy a bus. And then here we are, another year, we're gonna buy a bus, and we haven't bought a bus. Where? Oh, a senior bus specifically. I'm sorry. That van is the senior. No, they fixed it.
No, that they just got that bus.
That bus was.
2.5 years
And then I
ago.
stand to
Yes,
be corrected.
they just got that bus.
I stand to be
The
corrected.
bus that they have now. Mm-hmm.
No, but, well, we've all heard concerns about the bus. So we're trying to buy one, as the manager said, we're going through the legislative process. That's why I asked what we're gonna do if it breaks down and the money don't come through. He says we're going to rent one in hopes of getting the money.
Yeah, but for me,
So-
So for clarification, yes, sir. They, as Vice Mayor said, they do have a new bus. However, our seniors program is growing dramatically. And it is the belief of administration that we need to put some plans in place to get them a second bus. And I hope.
My point is, I just don't want us, we're putting all of our eggs in the states, saying that the state is gonna do it.
Understood.
And being that we didn't get any monies last year, and if we don't get it this year, then we don't get a bus. So I just don't want us to put all our eggs in that one basket, so we are diligently seeking, I guess, other funding sources, if you will,
Yes, sir.
to ensure that we have a bus going forward. All right, any other concerns for this budget amendment? All right, hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, so we go into our city manager's report, Mr. Manager.
Thank you. First, I want to give an update on Glorietta Gardens. We received a check for $94,052.76, covering their occupational licenses, their past and arrears, outstanding occupational license, annual facility permit fees, and annual landlord tenant permit fees. So this is a very good, positive step in the right direction. They have moved all the residents of building number 8, which was condemned by Miami-Dade County and red tagged by the city of Opa-locka, to the hotel that the city requested, which is Town Place Marriott Miami Lakes, which is across from downtown Miami Lake City Hall, and across from the brand new building for Popular Bank. Very excited to get our residents over there where they have access to a swimming pool and free breakfast. Next, the commission has requested that we move forward with the commission has requested that we move forward with a newsletter, which was a budgeted line item, and we're looking forward to move forward. That obviously that is a Herculean undertaking, and we want to first launch the newsletter electronically. So at every event, we've been having residents sign up for our emails, and we've gotten a lot of emails that we want to start utilizing to create a database so that we can access and get the message of the commission out to our residents. We're still moving forward with a paper copy, which will probably take about an additional 90 days. 90 days to get that completed. I've submitted an email to all of the members of the commission requesting that we've got quotes from each member of the commission, along with the little space for the member of the commission, that when the permanent newsletter come out, that'll be the space for each member of the commission to discuss what their agendas and items are and things they want to address to the residents. Right now, the newsletter is just enough space for a quote. We have a draft quote that we've submitted for each member of the commission. So if you're fine with what's been written, we can move forward with that. If not, we're also requesting that you submit to us what you'd like your quote to be in a couple of lines. And if you want to, and also we've selected your photographs, which are your official photographs. If you want to change the photograph out for any reason, please let us know that as well. I need to have a conversation about the air conditioning here in the building. As you probably may be aware, because the air conditioning is going out in the commission chambers and we did a repair. It's also going out. Yes, I'm aware. It's also going out in the finance department and we did a repair. It's also going out in code enforcement and we've done repairs. So we've had the system looked at, and we've been told that we can't continue to do repairs, that we need to replace the entire AC system, or it's called a chiller system for the city. The smallest quote that we have to replace the chiller system is $1.4 million. Just on time. We are going to be looking at ways that we can secure the funding for this chiller system. Otherwise, we may be faced with a situation where we come to City Hall and we have to send all of our employees home and cease providing services to our residents because we don't have air conditioning in the building. Want to next provide an update on some of the services that we are some of the upgrades that we're trying to do for our building and license department. As you guys know, we're trying to bring everything online for our residents. And we will, within the next 90 days, have all of the services for building and licensing building and licensing department brought online. That would be the first department, followed by code enforcement, and then followed by community development. This will actually bring us in, and we thank the commission for passing that resolution. This will actually bring us in compliance with actually a state law that requires that cities provide access to building and license services online for developers, so they can look at their fees that they owe, what their timeline is, what's the timing of their projects, what's the next steps, and they can correspond online. They can also submit their development plans and development agreements and site plans online as well. So that'll bring us in line with the other cities here in the state of Florida. So we're really excited about bringing that particular item forward. Also in our building and license department, we are continuing to diligently work to support the vendors of the Opa-locka flea market. we were able to get, I believe, 23 of them in compliance and issue out their grants for being in compliance. We're hoping to do another batch or the final batch next month. Durham is also working with us on that because a lot of them don't have Durham approval, but many of them, because of the type of businesses that they have or the businesses that they are, the landlord situation, they're not able to get Durham permits. So Durham has been very helpful and supportive of us working with these vendors in order to get their business licenses from the city of Opa-locka. So really excited to report that as well. In our beautification and building maintenance department, as you can see, we've done a lot of great work on our buildings. We're looking to install a sprinkler system citywide to kind of support all of the foliage that we're putting in line. We've successfully received grants for trees. And now we have had some traction with hiring an arborist, which will be tasked with maintaining the trees. We're just trying to negotiate bringing on one of the personnel. And we've also identified a company that will, if we're unable to get a permanent arborist, we've also identified a company that would be willing to, that we'll be bringing to the commission as a piggyback contract to actually give support to our trees. I'd also like to give a special thank you to Miami-Dade County. They were working on a project with the City of Opa-locka United Methodist Church, where they were planting trees on their property. They saw the condition of some of our trees and at no charge, they provided some maintenance and upkeep to our trees on purpose. So we're really excited and grateful for them doing that. They also provided us the recommendations at my request for the arborist that we are now working with to try to hire. And we have told them about the beautification plans here in the city of Opa-locka and some of the initiatives of Commissioner Williams, and they are more than willing and excited about potentially partnering on any future plans that the commission or Commissioner Williams has. Our capital improvement projects are underway. We've got millions of dollars in projects, very, very important projects that we are pushing forward through that department under the helm of Ms. Gross. I'm very excited about flooding mitigation here in the city, both in the commercial and residential areas. We're now about to undertake our third project to mitigate the flooding at Aswan Village. For those that know me, that has been a motivation of mine because when we take tours of the city with the directors, generally when it floods. And at one particular time where we're flooding, it was at 3:30, and we actually saw children walking home to Aswan Village with water up to their knees. And I took a photo of that and I keep it in my office. And that's why we are going to keep doing projects over there until we can get rid of all of the flooding out of there. Had some challenges with Sesame Street Bridge, as you all know, with companies saying that we're underbid, but we're not getting enough marketability on that and feedback to determine where our price point is. We're about to pull this out again because reopening Sesame Street Bridge is something that's important to me and it's something that's important to the commission and also been a passion of Ms. Gross. So we believe that we've got the kind of right structure and we're looking forward to putting that back out and hopefully getting a vendor that can take that on for us. As Commissioner Kelly already referenced, we'll be bringing forward with the parking meters. Very, very excited about that because we've also believed that that will add to the beautification of the city, particularly on Alibaba Village, which Commissioner Williams says she drives out every day and is tired of the bumps. But it's a lot of the work that's being done by the businesses that are alongside there, utilizing our streets as kind of our commercial tonnage that's kind of outside of what the streets can support. So we'll pave the streets, but then when months they've got potholes in them again. We have been successful at getting Purvis Street repaved for those of you that have noticed it. It's also part of our beautification. There was some complaints from residents about driving up and down Purvis. So we mobilized to address that, and now driving up and down Purvis should be a very, very smooth transition. We've already gone over the transfer station, which is also one of our capital improvement projects. Very, very excited to say that we are almost complete with a $1.2 million renovation of the first floor for the police station. So the Opa with a glass with bullet glass windows, security features, so you can't just walk in here and be armed and meet with a commissioner or elected official or city manager in case you're angry or upset. Most of that was with a grant. The other is coming from some of our police budget, which our current interim chief of police is running through like a hot knife through butter. I call it the police station, AKA the Taj Mahal. I have forbidden golden toilets, however, but we'll see if he pulls out the money for his own pockets. But no, I will have to give Chief Otley a shout out. He has brought a lot of innovative ideas that are unique to make this one of the best police stations that the city of Opa-locka has had. So very, very excited to be having that grand opening ceremony sometime next month. We've at the will of the commission, we have changed the name from code enforcement to code compliance. That's not getting the traction that we want, so we might have to get with Roar to kind of put that out there, because enforcement is forced in the names of the people. So we're really, really working to kind of transform that image. At the request of the commission, we have provided all of our code enforcement officers customer service training. They have body cameras now. So all engagements, all interactions, we're able to go back and see what actually happened. And we have seen a dramatic decrease, as you've probably heard, dramatic decrease because you give them to me, of complaints regarding code enforcement. So we're continuing to make progress in that department. We've gotten extensive projects through community development department. Most of them are mixed use or affordable housing projects. So we're going to be bringing forth, probably need a workshop, or I'll try to meet with you all one-on-one to discuss the impact of the Live Local Act. The Live Local Act came out of Tallahassee and was passed by the state, and it allows certain affordable housing developments to go through an administrative process, which often we're looking to put something forward that will still try to give the city of Opa-locka some teeth. Obviously, we're going to have to give some and make some concessions with this new law, but we do believe that we've come up with a policy and procedure that will allow us to be in compliance with the Live Local Act, but still position the city to be able to have some say-so in these affordable housing projects. On its face, the Live Local Act seems to, and as the city attorney stated, this isn't being litigated as we speak, bypass certain approvals, such as commission approval and planning and zoning boards. So we're looking forward to having an answer, to being actually one of the first cities in the state to provide an answer to that on how to move forward. With our finance department, we have mobilized the new company, and we've actually will have two additional. We've been very successful in increasing our numbers in our finance department. We will have two temporaries coming on board. We have a significant number of accountants that have applied for the permanent positions. So we may be looking to increase our finance department by four personnel within the next 30 days. So we're very, very, very excited about that. And we're looking to mobilize the new company, just trying to get some things transition from the previous company to the new company, and we'll continue to make those requests and get that facilitated. We have, as I did announce at commission meetings, we have had some had some offers put out for the human resources director position. One of the candidates backed out. We're looking to get some guidance from the commission or the will of the commission for the other candidates that are in the queue. how the commission wants us to handle those current candidates. So if it's the will of the commission, we can get that guidance now, or if it be the will of the commission, I can talk to you all one-on-one about that. Mayor, I'll defer to your preference. With regard to the human resource director candidates, shall we proceed with that process, or do we tell all the candidates that's on hold?
Madam Clerk, we were supposed to put out for the RFQ for the human resources, right?
Mayor, Mr. Mayor.
Right, I mean, yes, ma'am, Madam Clerk.
So, yes, during the special commission meeting on September 20th, 2023, the city commission adopted resolution number 23-141, which authorized a procurement process for an outside entity, firm, or professional to serve as a human resources director for the city of Opa-locka. In that legislation, there were some timelines in terms of the RFQ document. And the RFQ document was to go out on September 26, 2023, which you will find listed on the third whereas of the resolution. This item was submitted to the state immediately following that special commission meeting. And it was notated in that email that we were requesting expedited approval by the state to proceed with the RFQ process. However, at this time, we do not have state approval. That's one of my concerns in terms of how to move forward with this item. And I would need obviously direction from the city commission, since the resolution also reads in section 5, this resolution shall take effect upon adoption and shall be provided to the governor or governor's designee for review. That took place. We just don't have the approval from the state as of yet. I did send Mr. Brian Hunter an email today as a follow-up to this item in terms of the state approval, and I copied the city commission on that email, but I have yet to get a response back from Mr. Hunter.
Okay, I'm a little challenged, Mr. Manager, because I remember you saying that it would take you a couple weeks, some weeks, to get an HR professional. So you say you have some in queue and one dropped out?
The candidate that we had the offer to, at the time I made the announcement to the commission, he has dropped out, yes.
You never told us you had a candidate. You did? We did? Well, then I stand to be corrected. If you say we did, I don't remember that. I don't remember that at all.
That's how I was able to say that we'll have.
There was
I
some
never
people
heard that.
applied, but I didn't hear that it was a candidate.
Yeah, I didn't hear
actually
that
with an
either.
offer.
Okay,
With an offer, I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
okay.
So
Well, that's
what
how I
you're
got the timeline of 2 weeks, because we were negotiating a start
Yeah, but
date.
that wasn't made clear to the commission, Mr. Manager, at all.
My apologies. That's how I got, that's the only way I could have
Okay,
given a 2-week timeframe. But so if it was a miscommunication on my part, I apologize.
so you're saying that you have, and then you had an additional person in queue now?
Yes,
So you're asking the commission whether you should hire said person? Well, we can't give you that.
well, continue with the offer hiring process, which would be to make an offer, or
We can't tell you who to hire or fire, and I'm not gonna allow you to put us in that position.
I'm not trying to put you in the position, but that's
If-
exactly what
If
the
it's- if
resolution
it-
does.
if it
It's
bees-
to
if it
hire a
bees
human
your
resources
will As the
director.
will of the charter to do that, then you can go with your, because,
Absolutely.
but so I don't understand what
I
what
don't
you
want to
were
be in
asking,
conflict. I don't want to be in conflict with the will of the commission. That's all.
But you are.
But you,
How, so please direct me on how to be in.
But we've
we
already
can't answer that,
directed
we can't
this.
answer that question, Ms. Man, you know we can't answer that
We
question.
already
No,
have a directive.
okay,
We
all right.
Voted on a directive.
We
Why
can't
are we
answer that
going back
question.
to something
Okay.
else?
Okay,
Like, I'm confused why this was even brought up tonight, because it was not brought up. It was not stated. You may have said that you had someone in mind, but you never said you offered anyone anything.
okay,
That was not.
understood.
Please, Madam Clerk.
I'm not going to argue with you, Commissioner Williams.
Because
I
know
apologize.
listened. and I went back to the meeting to make sure that I was incorrect. This is so inappropriate and out of order. And then you just threw this statement out saying that like, that's just not right. But,
So-
Madam Clerk, I have a question. Have you, since you can't put the you're saying that you cannot put it out?
So, Mr. Mayor?
Have we done this before?
So I don't handle the procurement process for the city of Opa-locka. We do have a procurement officer, Mr. Burgel, who works for the city manager. And that's the process we use for our all of the city's RFQs. The only way I'm involved in this is I submit the advertisement for those RFQs to the Miami Herald for publication. There is a cost associated with that advertisement, which is why this resolution needs to be approved by the state of Florida, because there is a fiscal impact. And I did submit an email to the manager's office requesting that the RFQ go out, and his concern is the same as mine. We have not received state approval on this legislation at this time. Mr. Mayor?
What's it? I'm sorry, Commissioner Williams.
No, I'm done. I'm not gonna say anything because I'm gonna say something that's
Yeah,
not.
because now I'm a
that's
little,
not
because
right.
even during the presentation, Mr. Manager, you brought up the HR, but you never even said anything about the RFQ process. So I'm like, and then we can't tell you who to hire or fire. That's not the will of the committee.
So I'm not asking you.
But then why ask us for?
I'm not asking you to tell me who to hire or to fire. I'm asking you if you would like for me to proceed with the process, because there's a conflicting process in place. This is not a gotcha question. There's a clear concern. I apologize if you perceive this as a gotcha question. I could have easily taken direction without having a conversation with the commission. It's been requested to have more communication. I'm trying to have more communication. I've actually immediately called a member of the dais to get some guidance on this immediately when it passed. And so now I thought it prudent to bring it before the entire commission for discussion, particularly since the response that we received from the state, which really, as you know, to piggyback off of what the clerk said, caused us, to pause.
You say you call the dais or you call a member? What?
I called Commissioner Williams and requested some guidance on how she think would be the best to proceed on this. And that was immediately once it passed. However, we'll proceed was following the rules and
Already
regulations.
passed.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just saying if it had it,
Okay.
if it was, the guidance was asked before it passed, since it was my item, I would have had that conversation. We didn't have it before, we had it after it passed.
Okay.
I don't want to be like Commissioner Titus. I'm saying that I'm just confused because have RFQs gone out before without state approval?
No, I asked the city clerk to look if we could do that, and she said that has never happened.
So when you've reached out to our state person, we know the email and our city attorney clearly gave clear legal sufficiency to the item. Now, what's the follow-up to the attorney's email?
I haven't received any follow-up from the state regarding that.
Can somebody call? Can somebody
Yes, I believe that the city clerk sent the email in response and requesting additional response, and she has not received anything. And she says she copied the commission on it. Moving on to information technology.
Mr. Mayor?
No.
Yeah, we're not rolling.
We're not rolling over this one. I'm sorry.
No.
No.
Please provide the guidance that you want. As I stated before, this is exactly what Ms. Lawson and I was looking to do. We completely support if we want to outsource the human resources department. We actually, as I've had in conversations, support looking at some other departments support as well. And we're looking at bringing on consultants to support our staff as we have here. So it is not administration to give any pushback on this item whatsoever.
But that's why I'm a little I'm a little taken aback, Mr. Manager, because at that meeting, you said several times, I support the outsourcing of the HR department. And no time did you mention that I have someone in queue that we're going to give an offer to. You never said that.
So-
You kept saying, I just want to put on the record, I support the outsourcing of the HR. And you
Well,
kept
Mr. Mayor,
saying,
Mr. Mayor, I did not speak like that. So
well, you do have that tone in your voice.
I
But
I disagree with
so-
that characterization.
Okay, no problem, but
sir.
you said it several times, and then here we are today, you're asking us to give you guidance on something you know we cannot legally do.
So you keep saying that as if there was some type of gotcha here. You've already made it clear that you think there's some type of gotcha, but I want to make it clear again, this is no type of gotcha. As I stated before, I sought guidance immediately when this passed, and I'm seeking guidance again. If that's not something that the commission is able to provide, I understand that. And we'll move. That's why if you can't say anything on it, then you can't say anything on it. We'll move forward.
Mr. Mayor.
Madam Attorney.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Kelly.
Yes, I thank you, Mr. Mayor. I hope, and I know everybody's busy, just go back and look at these meetings in your free time with some popcorn and something to drink. And you'll just get what citizens are seeing is happening throughout these meetings where there's real challenges of trying to just have a quality of life, and what we're doing up here in some of these meetings, having to go back and forth. But let me just say very clearly, it's in the hands of the state. Mr. Hunter sent the email, he had questions, the city attorney responded, and to my knowledge, as the clerk said, she CC'd us, we haven't gotten a response. So they know they have not responded for whatever reason. So in my opinion, the only thing we can do is put a call in again tomorrow, have the clerk and or the attorney, because the correspondence really dealt with the attorney. So the attorney has responded, as my colleague said, she believes that we're within our rights and our guidelines to do what we have done. They had some concerns, they referenced sections, some different avenues or codes that they felt didn't apply or shouldn't apply, what have you. So to me, Mr. Mayor, to my colleagues, I think we ought to have the attorney reach out to them, because it's really more or less legal than the manager or the clerk, and find out what is necessary. If they're going to approve it, let us know. If they're not going to approve it, why not? And then she can communicate that to us so that we can make a decision. Because we're not going to make one, obviously, tonight on it. So, I don't even know why we even brought that up, but that's where we are. Let the attorney reach out to the state, because that's really what it was. It was a clarification on whether this commission had the authority or the right, based on our code and what have you, to do what we were doing. So let her reach out and respond to us via email or communicate to us what that is, so we can know. Until then, the clerk can't post anything, the manager can't cure anything to put out the RF. So that's where we are. We're still in limbo on the process. So that's my suggestion to us, to direct the attorney to make that call early in the morning to get a clarity on where we are. They're going to approve it or they're not. If they're not going to approve it based on some legal, what have you, then the commission may have to make another decision on what they want to do. I mean, it's real simple to me. We can't move on anything until we get the state's approval, because they have oversight over our finances. So the attorney can speak, but I think that's where where we're headed. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Madam Attorney.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, and I'll be brief. I am flabbergasted, really, that we would be in this position at this point. We provided analysis in order to bring the items to you all for your consideration. When I saw the email late on Friday, I stayed up until probably 2:30 in the morning to make sure that I responded to it that night, so that we wouldn't be in a position where it would hold up anything. So I am really disappointed, I guess, of where we are right now. And I'm hoping, I know that the state does review these meetings. I'm hoping that, this does not begin a pattern of this type of thing where we invest so many hours in trying to comply with the process that's requested by the commission, only to be at a state where we can't get a response. And so I will give a call to Mr. Hunter. His questions were of a legal nature. I was very thorough in responding to every single item that was set forth. And at this point, I don't know what the issue could possibly be. So I will get back with the commission and I will let you all know what we hear. And hopefully it's not too late for the advertisement on the guidance that you've already given to go forward with the item that's been passed. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Attorney. Mr. Manager, are you done with your report?
No,
Yeah,
sir.
you can-
All right, thank you.
You have any questions for the attorney? Based on what? Oh, he said he's not done with his report.
Now, any question for the attorney?
I thought that's what you were saying. I'm sorry.
I said question for the manager.
I think he's finishing his report. You want to?
No, actually, was he finished his report?
No, he's not done.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Give me just a second to find out my place where I was in the report. So moving forward with informational technology, I want to report to the commission that we have gotten the cameras up and all of the legal dumping areas. We were rotating the cameras because we didn't have enough previously. So we've purchased some additional cameras and we now have coverage over the illegal dumping site so we can start catching criminals again that are dumping in our city. I also want to give a special recognition to interim director Phil Walker. What many of you may have know that the additions that were made here in the chambers with the microphones, the cameras, the additional cameras, and also the additional televisions were actually done by him. He stated that he could do the work himself, that we didn't need to hire a contractor to do this work for the city. He came in on the weekends. It was really important to him to make sure everything was dressed before you guys came back from your summer recession. So he was really, we really want to give him his props and his due for the improvements that he's made on their beautiful chambers. Next in our Parks and Recreation Department, want to just remind the commission that homecoming is coming up. I'll leave Vice Mayor Irvin to give the official announcement, but we want to put that out there in participation of that. We also have a Halloween event, our annual Halloween event, which will also be coming up, which was extremely well attended last year. So we're trying to get enough volunteers and staff on board so we can appropriately man that. We've already had a discussion on our work with the buses. There was a question from, well, I'll give that later in the report. I always stated that I want to state for our police department, we actually had a 69-day streak of no major crimes. Now that was just recently interrupted, but that is a historic moment for us as we are still experiencing a very extremely low crime rate according to our crime statistics. So want to commend Interim Chief Otley on that. Commend that he keep up the good work and our officers and our men and women of the force. The residents are starting to see it, and I've had several businesses reach out to my office to commend the work that the police force is doing. Within our Public Works Department, really just more challenges here to report than bright spots. As you all know, our water and sewer fund is actually underfunded because we're not getting enough collections to pay the expenses. And we want to be gingerly gingerly with our water rate study. So it's unlikely that that's going to be a minimum increase, which is what the staff will probably recommend, will be sufficient to cover it. So we're always looking at, if you can't increase the revenue, you have to reduce the expenses. So we're looking at ways that we can potentially reduce the expenses. We have made significant progress on Carroll Lane. Getting those water meters identified and installed has been the major issue. A lot of the meters are buried under the ground in Carroll Lane, and that has kind of stymied progress there. We're also looking at our bus routes and alternative ways. We're not getting enough money from our CITT to expend the shuttle buses, and a lot of the residents aren't actually utilizing the shuttle buses. And those that do utilize the shuttle bus complain about them. They're not frequent enough. The drivers are not courteous. They don't go to where they want to go. So we're looking at, can we use those same CITT dollars that we have to utilize a freebie service or some other type of transportation service. And finally, we're on track for our historic city hall. We're looking to have that completed by the end of December. And there was a question that came up about the historic fire station. That was a grant that we were going after, and that grant was not received. So we are still utilizing the designated ARPA funds and looking to have that project completed. And it requires extensively more repairs. So we're not looking to have that project completed until potentially October of next year. That concludes my report.
Any questions or concerns to the manager on his report?
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Kelly?
I have several questions, but for the brevity of time, I'll submit them and I'm going to CC them to the commission and the clerk and attorney for the record. Thank you.
And Mr. Mayor, you all not respond. As you know, don't respond, please.
Respond to the manager?
Don't respond to
Oh, got
anything
it.
that is written.
All right, so I'll be brief, Mr. Manager. A couple of things you said.
Yes,
So I will say to Mr. Phil, the upgrade in the chamber does look nice. And I commend him on a job well done. The police department, kudos to the crime drop. And you said it'll be completed by next month?
Yes, sir.
So I look forward to the ribbon cutting. And I'm really excited about the freebie. I remember bringing them to the commission. So please keep me in the loop on that.
Yes, sir.
And I think outside of that, we are good. Any other questions for the man? All right, as we move on to our official board reports. Have no one here. Our mayor and commission report. We can start. Right, the commission, when you have a report. You have a report.
Just keep up the good work, everyone.
Madam Vice Mayor.
I do. I was gonna make it short, but it seemed like it don't matter. Anyway, I'm here. It's late. As you all know that we took 100 residents from the city of Opa-locka to Disney on Ice. I would like to thank Miss Quinn Connor. She is the group ticketing agent for the Panthers, whatever goes on at their arena. She gave us extremely great seats for an extremely low price. Once she realized that we're the city of Opa-locka trying to take 100 kids to see Disney on Ice, she did a phenomenal job. We were able to give our residents a pre-meal, feed them before you get them there. We received star quality. I felt like a star anyway. Our police department escorted us out of Opa-locka, lights and sirens. We also received a police escort all the way to the arena. And Officer Donahue and Major Cooney did an excellent job treating us special. We felt special. Well, I know I did. I felt like a VIP for sure. And all of our 100 guests received cotton candy and Mickey and Minnie ears at no extra, at no cost at all. And Park and Rec. When I tell you, I am so glad that Park and Rec was there with us and the Booster Club, because we had to purchase stuff and then take it back to the seats. And we're getting like 60, 70, well, it was 100 cotton candies and trying to get them back and forth. And they did, young folk, they did all the running back and forth for us. So I'm really happy for them. The manager's office, thank you for helping us get this together. Commissioner Bass and Commissioner Williams, thank you so much for joining us and enjoying this event.
Thank you for the invite. It was
Yes.
spectacular.
The clerk's office, thank you. Commissioner Kelly, thanks for joining us for our pre-meals so that you can fellowship with the residents and everything. And I would love to see us, not only were the children excited, their parents were excited as well, because it was the first time that they had got to go and see such a thing. And I would like to see us get our residents out as a group. You know, we had on all matching t-shirts. I would like to see us get our residents out of the city more often, or just to see great things. I'm working us going to the Dolphins game, so we're gonna see. Yes, Halloween is coming up. We're always looking for volunteers to work, to volunteer, to make the haunted house a special event. Also, we have Thanksgiving coming up, and I want us to, if, you know, procurement, I think this is a procurement issue, to start looking. I would love for us to step up to the plate with a minimum of 500 turkeys. I would like to see that happen. 500 plus. We're gonna see. And I want to say, I'm going to skip my whole Santa's Enchanted Forest and Christmas toy drive coming. But on Saturday at the park, we have 4 games at the park, Shabundy Park. Officer Donahue, I don't know the female officer that was with him because she stayed on the other side where the guests were. But when I tell you that Officer Donahue did a bang job for us, he was amazing. This is the first time in about 10 years that I could say that I went to the park for a football game and I didn't smell any marijuana at all. To the point where even the children said, I didn't even smell, I ain't smell no weed today. And that was very nice. The chief and Officer Bosque came by to check on us. That's something else that we're not accustomed to having. So to the police department, manager's office, you guys, I appreciate you all showing us that you care, because we haven't had anybody to do that. And I'm there all the time. I appreciate it. And one last thing, we had a resident that has been a resident of the city of Opa-locka forever, Mr. Sidney Scott, was found deceased at his house, which is right across the street from, not at the house, but in the car, right across the street from Nathan B. Young. If we can keep their family in prayer, I would appreciate it. And that's me. That's it.
Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Kelly.
Thank you. We held our monthly Feeding South Florida distribution and also partnered with Representative Gant for the mobile DMV at Helen Miller Center. This month, we had our Ingram Park Fun Day. We had over 200 in attendance. I want to thank all of the city staff who supported this effort, and a special thanks to the community that came out. We're looking forward, as you probably know by now, to recognizing and paying tribute to our own Vice Mayor Johnson this Friday at 10 a.m. with their street naming. We also invite all of our fishermen to join us this Saturday morning at 9 a.m. at Ingram Park for the fishing tournament for all ages. Please come out 9 a.m. for that. We want to also remind you about our monthly farm share distribution next Wednesday, October 4th at Shabani Pavilion. And all of us who believe in the power of prayer, the faith-based community for our citywide prayer fellowship. The church right across here from City Hall and the seniors complex on October 7th at 4 p.m. Vice Mayor, I guess I can work with you because I've already secured about 300 or so turkeys. And I was trying to get to 500 too, so hopefully we can have 1,000 turkeys for our Thanksgiving, what are we going to call it or do? Finally, we're working on a covert booster initiative. You'll hear more about that in the coming days as we get it together. I think that's about it for my report. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Well, since we all doing it, because I was working on an event for Turkey Drive too, and I secured some turkeys as well. So I guess we will reach the 1,000 threshold. Next week, I just want to announce that we have Congo-Loca Spanish Heritage Festival happening next week. It's a day of fun next week, Friday. Also, this last week, I was able to partner with Chin Medical for the Day of Service, where we were able to paint a house in the city of Opa-locka. So thank you all for your support on that. And we probably will continue doing that. So shout out to thank you, Mr. Manager, Sister Shemeka, and our beautification division for the tools that you all dropped off for us. So thank you all for that. Huh? Oh, Vice Mayor said I was being petty. I really wasn't. It was genuine. So outside of that, we know that we have the financial oversight update, Mr. Manager. And we just want to know that they started working. Can you give us a 30-second update?
Yes, they have started. And additionally, we're looking at bringing in 4 additional bodies to our finance department.
Okay, so I'm going to request that because we know what we was told. So that you provide the commission weekly or bi-weekly a written report to let us know the status of where we are in the process. So whatever you have, submit it so that we know that, because this is a priority for us. So we just want to make sure that we're moving in the right direction. So outside, any other questions for this financial oversight from the manager? Okay, so with any official board appointments? No? All right, so we're going into, can I get a motion? Well, move by Commissioner Kelly. Second. So again, thank you all for your patience. And like Vice Mayor said, we want to keep Mr. Sidney Scott's family in our prayers. This meeting is adjourned. It was moved by Commissioner Kelly, second by Vice Mayor Irvin. This meeting is adjourned.